Welcome back to Sway TV. I'm your host JJ here on Amazon Live, and I'm so excited!
We're gonna have some fun on the street.
And we're doing Workout Wednesdays here on Amazon Live.
And she is fresh off the set of Shark Tank.
It's such an honor to be here today, so thank you.
We are going to be talking all about parenting.
You have no idea how honored I am to have Mr. Tim Story making his world premiere right here on Sway TV Live.
Functional medicine is all this stuff. It's integrating things that improve your life.
It starts with being happy with how you look.
What is the key to a successful business?
We made history here on Amazon Live.
I feel like I met Jesus today.
Would you ask her out again, Michael?
I am so excited for today's Battle Shop Live.
And it's Brad Grunberg. Hi, Brad.
Here we go.
Get curious! Get curious!
Daisha says, I can watch Sway TV for hours because they are the best. Rosalinda just said, this is better than Netflix.
Oh, Naveen says this is better than Netflix. Yes! There's a Tesla. You can actually buy a car on Amazon. That is so crazy. The perfect gift.
Look at that! That's incredible!
Yes, we got our Drake's Cake break.
David is live streaming. We got it right up in the corner. I love this.
I am getting a complete
body makeover right now.
Oh, that feels so good.
Oh my God, that is the coolest thing ever.
So awesome.
Shake, shake, shake.
Shake your zoo life.
This is fun. Drum roll, please. Dun, dun, dun. So many giveaways here at Sway TV. I'm ready to battle shop live. Yeah!
And one person's gonna win a PS5. Which one will it be?
Everyone is holding their breath.
I have our winner.
I'm so excited, I can't even stand it.
And Sam's in the chat says, Sway TV rocks. Woo!
We're still going. Yeah, we don't sleep at Sway.
One of the best comments I've ever received, ever, hands down. EK's gonna love me even more. Look.
I cannot make this up.
We are awarding you with the PS5 as well.
6, 5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
All the time streaming live. We're sharing great products. We're doing great interviews and amazing giveaways.
So grateful for you guys and for Sway TV.
Yes.
Amazon, we love you,
Yes.
Amazon.
Talk to all your friends and your family. Let them know about Sway TV.
Thank you, Sway TV.
Amazon Live, woo!
I've had such a great time with all of you.
Shop attainment all the time.
It is a girl's dream come true for someone like me to be able to give you dating advice and shopping all in one platform.
We in the house, we having fun, we doing the thing, we swaying. Brrr. Do, do, do. How did this show turn into like a full-on sing-along? This is fun! We love Sway TV!
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's go, let's sway, stay tuned! Woo!
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sway TV. As you can see, we have very special guests. On my right, you know this guy. Who is it?
Good morning, Doug Jeffrey. Happy Wednesday morning. Sunny Los Angeles, beautiful day today, 70s.
It is going to be in the
75s?
70s today. And we have a very, very special guest we want to introduce right now because you're probably like, who is this guy sitting right next to us? This is Albert Ortega. He's a well-known photographer here with Getty in Los Angeles. Albert, how are you this morning?
I'm just great. I'm barely awake, but
Barely
I
awake.
have a little bit of... I'm awake now.
Are you a morning person?
I am not a morning person. This is normally the time I go to sleep. So
Well,
I'm not a morning person.
We'd like to thank you so much
no
for
worries.
joining us.
I didn't go to bed, but...
What time do you normally go to bed?
It depends. You know, when I used to work normally on doing red carpets and stuff, we'd go home and we'd work on our images. So it varies. Sometimes I go to bed at 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 6, sometimes award show nights. Never go to bed. Stay till the next morning.
Why don't you explain to everybody what Albert does?
Albert,
Photographer.
what do you do?
Yeah.
I am a red carpet event photographer. That's a mouthful. But that's what I do. Movie premieres, award shows, basically anything to promote what's going on currently in Hollywood, you know, whether it be television shows, movies, products, charities. I'm part of the publicity machine that helps Hollywood, you know, promote good stuff.
So now what is the difference? Because a lot of people, and even I get confused, what's the difference
Here it
between
comes.
yeah, what you do and the paparazzi?
The P word. The P word is the... Anyway, what I do and what paparazzis do, you know, we're trying to figure out the general public, because a lot of times we'll get tourists and stuff in Hollywood, they'll come up to and go, and they'll say, like, because of ignorance, they don't know any better. They'll say, oh my God, the paparazzi. And then we just go, oh no. I mean, some even of my colleagues even get a little upset and start to, they get upset because paparazzis have kind of a bad reputation in terms of how they work and how we work. We're, like I said a couple minutes ago, that we are part of the publicity machine. And so I was trying to figure out what's a good way, a quick, easy way to tell people what I do and what like a paparazzi do. So I said, well, we're invited. We're invited by studios. We're invited by PR people.
Yeah.
We're encouraged to be there to promote.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. So the difference between what a paparazzi does and what I do is that we are literally invited by the studios, by the PR companies to come and promote the whatever it is, the movie, the film, the television series.
Well, it brings up a very valid point. I mean, new movie getting ready to be released, and it's all about the publicity. You can have the greatest thing in the world, but until everybody out there knows about it, nothing's going to happen with it, right? So you are part of that one of those, you know, we talked about it before on one of the other shows. There's so many people that are involved in creating a film, television show.
Right.
I mean, hundreds, thousands of people. So it sounds like a fun job, actually. You get to meet a lot of cool people. I would think.
do. You get to see. The great thing is that it's never the same thing twice. I mean, setups and stuff, but you're never going into the office and, you know, punching in your clock and, you know, sitting at your desk. It's you know, usual different locations. It's different people. But at the same time, it's a lot of familiar faces and things of that nature. But it is a fun job, you know. It's not a lot of work. Sometimes you put in monster hours, but most of the time it's a couple hours here and there. A lot of it is waiting. We have to sit around and wait. Yeah, but once the thing starts, it's maybe an hour at the most.
Wow. Well, what type of events would you typically go to?
Well, because this time of the year, it's, you know, we're heading into spring. You get a lot of the movies that are just starting to go before summer. Summer's the biggest, you know, the big blockbusters come out for summer. So we get a lot of, you know, summer movies, the big tentpole movies, the superhero movies, the Marvel movies, the DC movies.
Love those movies.
Yeah,
Love those movies.
Yeah. So that's typically when you get the big blockbusters that make the most money. And in the fall is when you get the more Oscar-nominated films and stuff. And when the kids go back to school and the box office kind of slows down a bit. So this is usually the most exciting time of the year. I mean, this is when you get to see. And it seems like every studio goes back further and further and further and further so they can get a jump on the other studios, the competing studios. Like and even sometimes it's funny, like we had a few years ago when there was competing meteor movies or things like that nature.
No. Oh yeah,
like,
it kind of trends, right?
Yeah,
when somebody gets something, a blockbuster that's working, then all of a sudden somebody else is going to go, right? Hey, we're going to come up with our own spin on that.
And they try to race to the who can release it first.
Who's going to get it out?
They're like,
first.
well, we have Bruce Willis. Well, yeah, well, we have Morgan Freeman. So they're all, you know, who's going to get to the box office first and who's going to take the most money? But actually what's best is the writing. I think Dick Wolf once said he has like a sign or something. He goes, "It's the writing," or something that I'm paraphrasing, but it's true. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. So if you got a bad movie, it's a bad movie. It doesn't matter who's in it.
Well, that brings up the award season is coming up right now, so it always has fascinated me. So if you look at a movie that nominated, does it have to be a box office success, or is it based on the Academy and the critics? So you could have a movie that makes a boatload of money, and it's going to be missed, but it's really paying homage to just every element of making a film.
We'd like to say hello really quick to Michael T. Michael Toller. Is that you?
Good morning.
Gina Capone. Gina, good morning. How
Gina,
are
where
you?
are you?
Gina says hi. Good
Happy
morning.
Wednesday.
You guys, if you're just joining in, we have celebrity photographer, well-known photographer here from Getty Images. This is Albert Ortega, and he's talking all things celebrity this morning. So thank you so much for joining in. So you were talking about building friendships with people too.
Yeah.
So who have you built friendships with? Could you just basically see them over and over again on the red carpet?
I mean, there's certain I don't know if you can necessarily call them friendships, but it's because I'm pretty picky when it comes to friends. Friends are people you hang out with and stuff.
They come to your house, right?
Yeah,
a friend is somebody that has been in your house, not somebody in passing that you
right.
Whatever.
So they're friendly. They're like acquaintances. I mean, there's got people like Chris Hardwick is a great guy. I love him. He's the best host you can ever book Chris Hardwick. Doug Jones, who's on Star Trek right now. Camden Toy is a good friend of mine. He was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Does a lot of makeup work and stuff. Chris Pratt, I got to know, I was working on a film with him, and he always, now that he's a huge star, he doesn't outrightly come over and say, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" And he'll do the typical, like I see him scanning the crowd of all the photographers, and when he spots me, he'll just do like a wink or something. Something very subtle, which is very Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But, there's so many great people out there, Unfortunate people are like, well, who's like the worst person around? And I'm like, I don't. Who wants to dwell on bad things? Yeah. And they're like, who's just like, and it's just like, guys, it's not that exciting. It's just like, it's not that people are angry. Most people are in a great mood and they're there to promote and they're happy to promote. Will Smith is fantastic. We were at Teen Choice Awards, I remember, and it was super hot. And we were just sweating. And he literally grabbed a big thing of water and brought it over to us and just started handing it out. I'm like,
that's pretty cool.
That's great.
Cool.
Will Smith, I love Will
people.
Smith. He's a good guy. He's great at promoting. He's great at movie premieres. Tom Cruise is always professional and on the money. My biggest place to see a lot of these stars is at Comic-Con. I work for Comic-Con. And Comic-Con, I'm like one of the few photographers. It's usually me and whatever studio photographer is backstage before these guys could go out and start promoting their films. And I've seen some unbelievably wonderful things. Like the very first time Black Panther had their first trailer was at Comic-Con. And the cast was all assembled. And they had not seen it at all. And just to see them just high-fiving each other backstage. And they were just super, and the crowd was pumped up. It was amazing just to witness. So just to be, sometimes I'm a fly on the wall, and I'll just watch these guys interact with each other backstage, and it's just so much fun.
It's such a love. I mean, everybody, we talked about this before. It's all these artists, talented, amazing people coming together and just having one goal in mind to make it the best they can be. So to really, get to that place, they're just so excited and they just want to share and they're proud of what they've created. So
yeah, it's just so much fun. It's something I look forward to every year. So unfortunately this year because of COVID, we're not going to be able to have a Comic-Con. Maybe we will later on. There might be something later on in the year.
It's so funny. Gina says, wow, you guys look great this morning. Thank you, Gina. Thank you
Do you
so
like my
much.
pink jacket? This is
Look
the
how
first
bright it
pink
is.
jacket I've ever owned, actually.
Michael says, same to you. Diana says, good morning to us. Good morning, Diana. How are you today? We have celebrity photographer extraordinary Albert L. Ortega with us. He's going to talk everything celebrity in Hollywood. Love Will Smith. Yes, we love Will Smith. He's from Annie, and Gina Capone says, love it. Awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I know,
Thank
we're
you.
so excited. Now, you were just talking about, being a fly on the wall and catching all these amazing moments. Do you ever feel like when you're there, you're actually catching these almost like historical moments or moments that are special celebrity moments because you are there all the time seeing all the action unfold on the red carpet or behind the scenes?
Well, typically on the red carpet, everyone's on their best behavior, so they're not, they're not going to do something outrageous or something silly. I mean, there's been some unscripted things that happen, like Steve-O from Jackass doing something a little, and they're like, "Whoa!"
That's kind of, but that's kind of his persona, his character. It's,
But I mean, you'll get some genuine stuff. Typically, it's not. But say co-stars haven't seen each other in a while since filming because they'll go on to another project, whatever. So they'll be the first time they've seen each other, and they'll come onto the carpet and embrace or whatever, and it's a genuine feeling and stuff. Or they'll do kind of stunts, like they'll come in a car from the film or in some kind of vehicle or
like a Batmobile.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever had a Batmobile. Although at Comic-Con one year, again, Comic-Con, they had all the Batmobiles assembled in front of the hotel that I stayed at, which was really, really super cool.
Be neat to
you had
see,
everyone from
actually.
the 66 Batmobile to the Tumbler they used in the recent Batman film. So that was kind of cool. People could come and take pictures with it. It was really cool. So a lot of it is they do like little stunts so that people will get excited.
It is show business.
It is. That's right. It is show business. It's show business. So it's fun.
They said that you boys look very handsome and dapper today.
Oh, thank you, and my lovely pink jacket.
And John Paul says, good morning, everybody. Johnny Kong says, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Why are you up so early? What's the matter with you? You should be sleeping.
What part of the country, the world? Where are you?
Yeah, let us know.
Please share with us. That's what this is all about.
Oh,
hey, Doug.
no. Are you wearing a dress?
No,
it
is a jacket, actually. So.
And the Gina Capone says, real men wear pink, too.
Thank you so much.
Yes, what's wrong with pink?
You got to be in touch with yourself to pull off a pink jacket, I think.
Oh my gosh.
It's just the color.
As I said earlier, we're talking to celebrity photographer. He's well known here in Los Angeles,
New York.
Albert L. Ortega.
Right, New York. I used to live in New York many years ago. I love New York.
I've been to New York.
He's been to New York.
Several times.
Albert Ortega. Now, so you travel all over too for your job because you're not just here for red carpets in Los Angeles. Don't you go other places too?
Actually, since we were talking on the topic of New York, I was years ago. I went to New York for the premiere of the first X-Men.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So and basically the New York photographers were like, "What are you doing here? Well, why would you come?" I go, "I'm here for X-Men because I'm a huge sci-fi, fantasy, horror nerd, and I said, New York, and they had the premiere on Ellis Island. So we went on the ferry, and I'm to go to cover the premiere, and so I'm just hanging out talking to some of the New York photographers, and I remember one of them said, "Hey, why don't you take a picture of the New York skyline?" I'm like, that's a great idea. So I took my camera, turned around, and I got a beautiful picture of the Twin Towers that are not here with us anymore, but I treasure that shot, and I thank him so much for giving me the idea of taking that iconic picture of the New York skyline.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
I can remember many years ago when I was working for Chippendales in Atlantic City, and one of the MCs in New York wasn't able to do it, so they would helicopter me from New York to Atlantic City, and it was the most, just coming in that helicopter and just seeing that skyline. It is just breathtaking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've got New York. New York is in the house. Long Island.
All right.
Michael?
East Coast.
Morning,
Jersey,
New York.
New Jersey.
Hey, how about a slice? I love Ray's Pizza. I love Ray's. Somebody send me a slice.
New Jersey.
Michael wants to know,
Jersey.
Albert, what does the L in your name stand for?
Al stands for Louis or Luis.
Louis?
And people say, like, why do you insist on like Albert L. Ortega? Believe it or not, there are 3 other photographers named Albert Ortega.
Really?
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. There's a photographer here in Miami. His name is Albert Ortega, and we would get each other's emails and correspondence. They go, I think this is for you, and he would say the same thing to me. I think it's for you.
Long Island Brooklyn pizza is better than Ray's pizza.
Oh,
I'll tell you
prove
what,
it to me. Send me a slice.
The funny thing is, like, obviously we're here in Los Angeles, and we're still trying to find the best pizza. And so far to date, Home Slice in Austin, Texas
is the bomb.
Is the bomb for us, actually. We're still trying to,
What would you say is the best pizza in town, in LA?
LA, it's a good question. So we haven't found a great pizza
Amici's?
compared to.
Amici's,
That's
right?
pretty
Amici's.
good. But
Yeah, we like
compared
Amici's.
compared to New York, it's hard to beat because you guys, New York and actually Connecticut.
It's about the water, right? It's all in the water.
Apparently, there's a place in Westwood, not far from here. It's called La Monica's, and they claim that they get their dough from New York, and it does make a difference. I'm picky when it comes to pizza. And let me tell you, I've had my fair share of pizza, and it is about the crust. If what I judge, if you have a good piece of pizza, you can eat the crust too, because a lot of people don't stay away from all that Domino's.
Gina, you're absolutely right. New York pizza is by far the best. When I was living there on First Avenue, First Street, First Avenue, Avenue. The best. 61st and First, many years ago. I don't know if it's still there. Can't remember the name, but wow.
She's Albert Einstein here.
Albert Einstein.
Gina says nobody can beat New York pizza. Our dirty water makes the best. LOL. And bagels.
There you go, bagels. That's totally an East Coast thing.
Yeah.
I love bagels. Now, we were talking to Albert Ortega. He is a celebrity photographer here in Los Angeles and Hollywood. Now, also, in addition to the red carpets, you had just mentioned Comic-Con. So do you go and see there's a huge community now of cons, right?
Yeah.
So explain that whole thing, and do you go to all these cons?
I go to most cons in Los Angeles.
What are they?
Well, you have... of course, the king of cons is Comic-Con. You have to go to Comic-Con.
The king of cons.
The king of cons. The king of cons, Comic-Con. And Comic-Con also has a sister con in Anaheim called WonderCon, which would be happening right now in March. It's usually in March. Usually in March, usually around Easter weekend. And, of course, because of COVID, damn you, COVID, we can't have any cons. But then there's like Long Beach Con. There's Kamikaze, which is in at the Los Angeles Memorial.
Kamikaze Con?
No, it used to be called Stan Lee's Kamikaze. Stan Lee.
Kamikaze Con.
Kamikaze.
That's a true alliteration, right?
They want to know, are you a photographer? Good question, actually.
Yes.
Is Albert a photographer or a cinematographer?
I am a photographer. Cinematographer is more from films, the guys that basically scope out. I would love to be a cinematographer at one point, but the cinematographers are usually working films and television. They scope out all the, how a shot's going to look and lay it out and stuff. Cinematographers, there's some great cinematographers out there, but I'm just a photographer.
Well, now, it says, I missed the beginning, so I wasn't sure. Yes, for you guys who are just joining us, this is Albert L. Ortega. L is really important. He is a celebrity photographer here in Hollywood, and we're talking all things celebrity today. Now, Albert.
Yes.
What do people see? Like, if you guys out there, have you been to a con? Let us know. What do people see? What did they expect to see when they go to these big cons?
Are you Albert Einstein?
Are you Albert Einstein?
I am not. I'm not a mathematician. And I'm horrible at math. I can barely count 1 + 2 +. Yeah. But anyway, no, I am not a mathematician, so I'm not Albert Einstein. Thank you for asking.
But what is it that people will see when they come to these
conventions? Well, what conventions now, they have a lot of what they call cosplayers, which are basically people that will dress up in their favorite characters and stuff. And a lot of these people are super talented in terms of they actually work behind the scenes in some instances where like they make their own costumes. And they're almost
beautiful.
exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many talented people
Yeah.
that really want to represent the something they have such a love for out there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And a lot they work up in the makeup department. They work in all kinds of behind the scenes. They do like special effects, but they have such a love and such a passion for their favorite characters that they want to represent at conventions. And cosplayers have become so popular at conventions that they've had their own followings and stuff. And I think they're amazing people. I think a lot of them will do charity. It's like I'll shoot charity events and I'll call them up and say, hey, we need some cosplayers for like
that's amazing.
For kids and stuff.
Yeah,
and they'll
that's
do it
great.
they'll do it for like nothing. And some of them charge, but some of them don't. And most of them don't charge for money. And they just do it out of the goodness of their heart. And it's just, my hat's off to them. I love the cosplayers that are out there.
That actually brings up a good point. Don't the stormtroopers, if you guys know too, don't the stormtroopers do the same thing for the charity, like go to children's charities and hospitals and all that kind of stuff?
People that dress up like stormtroopers, it's called the 501 First. It's the one that I'm familiar with. It is sanctioned by George Lucas and Lucasfilm. They do all kinds of charity work for children's hospitals. They march in the Hollywood Christmas Parade every year. And they're just, cool. That's like my favorite, I think, cosplay is the iconic white stormtroopers that just do everything and anything.
Oh, that is so awesome. Michael, thank you so much. Nice outfit, Candace, Doug, and Albert.
Oh, right. Thank you. My
that is
pink
so
jacket
awesome.
that I'm wearing.
You guys were talking today to a photographer extraordinaire, Albert L. Ortega.
Hey,
and he, actually, he's got his camera right here.
This is not a weapon.
Oh, it's not a.
It's a camera.
It's your weapon of choice.
His tool. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about what you do with this and what kind of camera it is, so people that are camera aficionados can see it.
This is a Nikon. It's a D3S. Nikon, if you want to send me a D5, I wouldn't say no. But this is my all-purpose camera. This is a camera that I typically will use. It's got no flash or anything. People that really are into photography don't like flash. That's what I learned when I
really
because it looks natural, and the natural light just looks more real. I mean, we use like here's my other camera, which is typically what I use on the red carpet, and it has a flash on it because the flash evens out the lighting. It looks perfect, but it's kind of stale. But that's that's the majority of what the photo editors want. They want something that looks very uniformed and just simple. Like they always say, especially for the ladies, we want pictures from head to toe that shows all the outfit, like Candace is wearing, head to toe. And we always tell them, this is a little tip for you gals out there, especially in the business, red. Wear red color.
Or
pink. Bright pink. Because it pops, it stands out, and photo editors will always say, make sure they wear red. The one color that's a no-no is black. And
I'm wearing
black,
right
because I'm not an actor. Well,
the camera's being flipped on you right now.
Black's also slimming. And that's what I typically hear from actors, and not actors as much, but actresses. They like, well, I like black because it's slimming, or they'll turn sideways. And I say, don't turn sideways.
Here's a very interesting observation. So that your tool,
my tool,
all the famous faces that this tool is captured over the years. Mm-hmm. Wow, if that camera could speak. Really, when you think about it.
They're asking, Johnny Kong is asking, how many cameras do you have in your camera collection?
Yes.
Typically, I have...
Do you talk to your cameras? Do you have a favorite camera? Do you go, okay, you're going to come with me
please,
today.
Baby, don't worry. No, I carry two cameras, and then it's always good to have a backup. But because I have to pay for my own equipment, I don't have that much equipment. Usually, if I don't have one, it's because it's in the shop or it's broken.
And typically, how long, because I'm thinking they're so weighty, how long are you waiting on the red carpet with all your gear for celebrities to come down, like for a movie premiere?
Like an hour at the most. I mean, I think the longest we have to work are award shows, and because you get like a 2 to 3 hour stretch. But I have the indentations in my shoulders, so I've been carrying my cameras for quite some time. 30 years.
30 years you've been doing this?
30 years,
wow.
yeah. I was like a baby when I first started. It was 1989, in the fall of 1989, and I was like 21 years old. So now I'm from.
Is that what you always wanted to do? How did you get started?
You know, it's funny because photography is something that's always been a passion of mine. And it was originally I wanted to be an artist. When I was, it was funny when I was a little kid, back in grammar school. A typical thing is little kids would, hey Johnny, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a fireman. I want to be a princess. Well, Johnny didn't say it. It was and they would go, and I said, I want to be an artist and I want to move to New York and work for Stan Lee. And they're like, oh, that's very specific. And I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to work for my hero, Stan Lee. God bless his soul. Thanks, Stan. Oh, Stan. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a comic book artist. And my parents were like, no, you'll starve. Don't do it. And my mom was like, don't move to New York. Don't move. Don't leave my baby. And I was like, and thankfully Stan moved out there to Hollywood. And I got to meet Stan many, many times. And he was, like I said, he's my personal hero. And I always looked up to him and Jack Kirby, who co-created a lot of these wonderful films that we get to see, Captain America and don't say Superman, don't say Batman.
Why? I don't understand.
Oh, what's funny is typically when I say comic books and I'll say Marvel and Stan Lee, people that don't know, that aren't in know, will say, oh, like Superman, and
that's what I was gonna say, like Superman, like why?
No, I like Superman, I like Batman and all, but that's the competition. That's DC Comics.
They're competing.
Marvel and DC.
They're competing.
Yeah.
What are you guys fans of? Let me know in the chat. Is it DC or Marvel?
But funny story, Candace had interviewed Dave Blass, production designer, and he shared his story where in his guidance counselor in high school, he's like, so what do you want to do when you get out? He goes, I want to work for Star Wars. And they're like, what? Excuse me?
I want to work for George Lucas and Star Wars.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's so funny. So it's really about pursuing your dream and just going for it and just you see it and you'll figure out how to get there.
Star Wars is a perfect example of how many people saw Star Wars and went into the film business because of Star Wars. Your friend Dave Blass. I mean, there's
the original Star Wars?
Yeah, the original Star Wars.
Wow.
There's that iconic scene where you see the Star Destroyer coming out after the scroll. And I mean, most of us are like, oh my God. It's like something you've never seen before. I mean, honestly, can you name, besides Star Trek, like a major science fiction film that impacted that many people?
Well, Star Trek the movie or no?
No. Star Trek the movie came after Star Wars. Because I think Star Trek was like, we can't do that, why? Because they were, the thing about Star Trek is that the time they became really popular was during reruns. I mean,
I grew up watching, Captain
reruns.
Kirk and the whole thing. So,
but the chances are you probably didn't see it live, right? When it first came on, you probably saw it.
What year did it come on? Actually,
60. Help me, somebody.
Yeah, somebody.
Robert Burnett, Mark Goldman.
Somebody Google that.
1966, 67, something along that line.
Gina,
way young, actually.
There's lots of Trekkies out there that I'm sure they know.
Well, Johnny Kong says he likes both Marvel and DC. You guys let us know.
There's room for everybody. There's room for. I mean, we just had the Snyder Cut. I mean, how many people saw the Snyder Cut?
Which one? The Zack Snyder of.
Zack Snyder. Well, the lore or the thing about the Justice League movie, they were gearing up like Avengers. They had the huge story arc in Marvel with the Avengers, and that was like a 15-year story arc. The Avengers or
Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame. Yeah, that was kind of like the culmination of everything, but it was like a build-up from Iron Man to Doctor Strange,
which spun off into
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Now, WandaVision is Marvel's first thing after Endgame, and it deals with
the characters. Each character is going to get a storyline.
There's certain storylines that which is I think brilliant of Marvel. They want it. That has a lot of exposition. Because you have 2 hours with you can probably go to 3 and 4 Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut 4 hours, which was you couldn't feel it. 4 hours is unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Anyway, so going back.
Wait, is 4 hours long?
Snyder Cut is 4 hours long, but it's worth it. You do not feel it's
4 hours.
Is there an intermission like for people to go get a snack?
You know what? Here's your intermission. You just push pause and you go to the bathroom or whatever. But you can, like I said, you don't feel it. Wow. You know what's funny is that people say, oh my God, 4 hours is so long. But people will binge a show
Exactly,
like
that's a very
Stranger
good point.
Things on the weekend,
For
and
like
that's
5 hours.
more than 5
Yeah, I
hours.
binge.
More.
I'll
I binge
binge.
too. I love binging. This is the one thing I just started watching now that WandaVision is done, which was very sad at the end. But and now they're doing Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah.
Not Snowman. Snowman, she said.
I wasn't sure.
She's killing me.
How long have you been watched? Like, what is the most you've binge watched ever? And be honest.
Honestly, a lot of people were telling me, and I got on the boat really late with Game of Thrones, and so they were like, hey, "Did you see this Game of Thrones and the Red Wedding?" And I'm like, "No." And so then I binged all of Game of Thrones. I started with a friend loaned me their DVD and said, like, "Hey, you got to watch Game of Thrones." So I was like, "You know what? We're going to commit." So I sat down with
We're going to commit.
I sat down with my.
We're going to commit.
We're going to
Let's
commit.
Sit back and get ready with the remote control up there. Okay. Honey,
we
I'm going to be busy for the next 6-7 hours.
We weren't watching like that. We were watching like this. Oh my God.
But for like how long?
I think we watched the whole thing in like a month.
The whole series?
The whole series in like a month. Maybe less, maybe 3 weeks. But we were just like, put another one in, put another one in.
That's what it is.
It was like 4 in the morning.
You're addicted to that thing.
Put another one in. I want to see what happens.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, oh, just one more. Just
try like 4 o'clock in the morning. You're like, Kyle's awake. You better. Nah, he can eat later. We were just put another one in. It was just like a nonstop thing. I mean, Game of Thrones was unbelievable. I missed it for like I think a good 4 seasons, and then I was like, yeah, everyone's talking about it. Everyone was cosplaying. And I was just like, I had to binge and watch it, and it was, believe me, it was so worth it. I was just like,
it was amazing, and it just goes to show once again just the impact that certain projects can really, how it can really consume the country or the world actually, just based on the writing, the production design, the talent and the story. And, it's that thing, it's, entertainment, just as, in troubling times, something that people can escape into and live, live that fantasy and
absolutely
the mind.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think of Game of Thrones? What I thought was interesting is like each episode, is it not true? It felt like a movie to me.
Yeah, the production design,
the budget, and just everything was crazy.
The acting was top notch. I mean, some of the stories were unbelievable. And some of them were more simple, but still just the gravitas and just the acting and just the material was just like, you could just have 2 characters in a room just talking back and forth and scheming and stuff. Scheming. But it was just so compelling. I was just like, I got to see what's going on. And I love that kind of stuff where they have a story arc that spans so many years. Like the sci-fi show called Babylon 5, they had the same. I mean, the writer Jay Straczynski knew exactly what he was going to do from the start to the end, and that took for a long time. But
how many years?
Oh man, I don't know how many seasons were they, like 12. But there were a lot of seasons.
Oh my gosh!
But just to have the idea and to the fact to get anyone to commit to it, like a studio or something, is
I mean,
unique.
that's one of the amazing things. Like some of these films and television shows, it's just someone creates that in their brain. And then they have to take it through all the steps to get it made. Like some of them, just I can imagine the pitch of like, okay, I got this idea, and we're gonna do this, this, and this, and they're looking at you like, what are you talking about? And a lot of things are shelved for a very long time, and then all of a sudden, it comes back out, and then all of a sudden it gets the doors open and the red carpet.
It's really hard to get a studio to commit to projects where, especially when it's like a story arc, like the X-Files. They had filler episodes, or they had one episode that would just beginning and end, and then and then they had multiple episodes where they would just explain a certain story line or whatever, and you can get all these wonderful shows. Get them on Amazon. You can totally just order
everything. All this is on Amazon.
All these shows.
We love you, Amazon. Thank you, Amazon.
I love the.
We're talking about. You were just talking about the.
Excuse me. That is my time to go. I have to go do back to my real job.
Oh, okay. Thank
you, guys. Pleasure.
Thank you,
everybody.
He's having an awesome time. But anyways, we're staying with you guys. Now, you were talking about WandaVision.
Yes.
And you were saying the other thing is not the Falcon and the Snowman, but it's the Falcon and the something. What is it? It's the Winter something?
The Winter Soldier.
So is that, okay, so you have Marvel, and then
Yes.
Marvel movies, the last one was the Endgame, then it became WandaVision, and then it became the Falcon and the Winter thing?
Winter Soldier.
And the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think of that? How they're
I think it's brilliant. I mean, my hat's off to Kevin Feige. I mean, Kevin Feige has been with, like the shepherd, has taken Stan Lee's vision and just is. I mean, we should thank Kevin Feige every day. Thank you, Kevin Feige, because he is taking all these wonderful characters and he has this vision, and he brings like the best of the best in the business. And like I said. Now we've gone from WandaVision, which basically takes the character of Scarlet Witch, and they didn't. They never call her the Scarlet Witch, and they kind of gave her the name in the show. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I don't know, spoiler alert. But basically, it's about Wanda, the character, who's going through just this horrible heartache of losing her love, which was the Vision.
Right.
Because the Vision, he
See, I didn't know. If you guys want to see Avengers Endgame, you can find it here on Amazon. I didn't know he kicked the bucket until I saw WandaVision. And so she's trying to recreate him, even though he passed away in the Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys know what we're talking about? Let us know.
Yeah. So she's dealing with her own grief. So she creates this whole little town and kind of takes the people hostage and creates her own little like perfect world, and this is like her the way she's processing her own grief. So it's in so many episodes you can't do it in a movie because you can't lay out that much exposition because people will get bored. They're like, where's the action? Where's the this? Mind you, there is action. There is action in the film, but you have, I mean, for those of us that do crave a little bit of content and some backstory.
Right.
It's brilliant. Television is a brilliant medium to have that. You can have multiple episodes where they explain certain things and certain characters that don't get the attention, like Thor, Iron Man, or Captain America, get to shine in these wonderful shows. I mean, they're going to have other television shows that are going to do the same thing. There's going to be a Hawkeye. There's going to be Loki, where we get to see the backstory and some exposition and explain some background of these characters, which I think is great.
That's what I think is so important too. And get me if I'm wrong, and you guys let me know if you believe this too. I love these Marvel movies, but I feel like a lot of time it's all action and CGI and blowing things up and all that. And what I noticed in WandaVision was they took time to show the relationships between these people, these characters.
True.
And so you think that's a really good point that you brought up, is that in the film they don't have time. In the series, they actually might have the time.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, you get a chance to slow things down a bit, and it makes you feel for the characters much more. They're more fleshed out. So when someone is hurting or when someone is in peril, you feel for them. So when the time comes out for them to be in the film, there's more kind of like an emotional investment. And they're like, oh, I really care about what happens to the Scarlet Witch or Wanda, or what happens to Clint or the Falcon or whatever. I mean, the Falcon, they've only aired the one episode. And which is like, oh, it drives me crazy because I love to binge. And I was telling my wife Maya, I said, please, let's go to the next episode. She goes, what do you mean next episode? You have to wait till Friday. I'm like, what?
Oh, wait, no. It comes out every Friday? Because we were wondering, because there is only one episode up right now.
One episode right now. But it's worth it. You should watch it. I highly recommend it because it talks about, I mean, Falcon has some great action scenes as well. But it all talks about him trying to get alone. Again, spoiler alert.
Ooh, because what I want to do is, like, all these movies are available on Amazon right now, right? So we can technically go and binge all these movies ahead of time to get to Avengers Endgame. If you guys have seen it, let us know. And then go and watch WandaVision, and then watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Not Snowman.
Winter Snowman. I thought it was a snowman. So, and Johnny says, thanks, Doug. Thank you so much. Yes, Doug had to go to his regular job. And for those of you guys who are just joining us, we have Albert L. Ortega.
It's all on the L.
It's all on the L because there's other photographers named, ironically, Albert Ortega.
Yeah.
So this distinguishes the L guy right here. And he is here. He is a celebrity and well-known photographer here in Los Angeles. And we're talking all things celebrity, all these great movies. Now tell us about, you know what? You go to so many cons.
Cons, yes.
That you were actually a part of a show that was based in Canada. It showed in Canada, but tell us about it because you were actually on the other side of the camera. They followed you around and you were on the show. And tell us all about it because we love to hear about it.
A few years back, I want to say about 10 years ago, there was a show that was based in Canada, but they would basically wires for sound and follow us, the photographers. It was called One Shot. And I was like, since I'm a ham, I love the camera and I love to be on. Anyway, and I kept telling them, I kept trying to sell them Comic-Con. I go, you guys should come to Comic-Con. You should come. And they're like, all right. And so then they finally committed and said, like, yeah, okay, we'll follow you around. And it's typically 2 segments in a half-hour series. And like, when they came back, they're like, oh my God, we had more than enough material. We could have made 2 episodes, but we're not going to. Anyway, so they followed me around Comic-Con, and it was back, I think, 2012 or something like that. And believe me, it's grown considerably since then. But it was still pretty good. I mean, there was still a lot of eye candy. There was a lot to see. And it was funny because the guy following me, who was much younger and much leaner, went to my wife. She goes, oh my God, I couldn't keep up. This guy doesn't stop for anything. He goes, he doesn't even stop to eat. And she goes, yeah, I know. So she was not.
You don't stop to eat or drink fluids, water, nothing.
Typically, I'll carry a backpack with me and I'll carry fluids with me. Since I'm older now, I do carry a lunch. Or my wonderful wife, who works for Comic-Con as well, will bring me a lunch. She goes, here, eat. You got to eat. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need to eat. I'm a strong man. I can, but then I was like, oh.
But you don't even sit down because you have a camera and a back. Let's explain all this gear. You have sometimes, 30 pounds of gear and your backpack. I always say put it down, and you are able to stand there for hours. That's just from doing this for so long?
Yeah, it's. I don't recommend it. If you any chance you get, please put your gear down. I don't walk around with it all the time. If I get a chance in between panels at Comic-Con, and it's hard at Comic-Con because I typically in Comic-Con I have my beat is the infamous Hall H.
What's in Hall H?
I
don't know. What is
Hall H? Is the biggest room in Comic-Con.
Oh, it is?
It's huge.
Is that the Star Wars room?
It's a Star Wars room. It's a Star Trek room. It's basically the movie room. It's like if there's a major project that's coming out or something big, it's in Hall H. Now, Hall H is infamous. And it really got infamous because not too long ago, there was a little movie called Twilight.
Oh, I
remember Twilight, everybody? Twilight used to be popular.
Did you guys like Twilight? Let me know. That was like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Twilight was the thing. It was huge. So then people used to camp out for it because it's kind of, to get into Hall H, it's a first come, first serve kind of thing. So then people used to camp out. They would they would bring their sleeping bags or whatever, and they would have their meals, and they would literally camp out outside of Hall H. And the line would just go around the building and down the block, and there was so many, what are they called, Twilighters? Twits? No, not Twits. Twihards or whatever they were called. I can't remember. But I honestly, I didn't know anybody in the cast. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart.
Was he unknown at that time?
He was, he did Harry Potter, but nobody really knew who he was. I just remember him doing this the whole time, putting his hand through the hair, and I said, would you please stop putting your hand through your hair? I was like, stand still. He was very nervous. And Kristen Stewart was just brooding and whatever. But, they were great to the crowd, great to their fans, some of them. Some of these people that are in Hall H will come and give out, I've heard the wonderful stories about coming out and bringing them donuts or food to the fans.
Wow.
Yeah. And after Twilight, you have people lining up for Supernatural, which is a great story. Those guys are unbelievable. Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles were wonderful guys. And just, Marvels and DC and people, and whatever big huge franchise is going to be in Hall H, so they'll come. The fans will always come and always, because they want to see the very, very, very first previews and trailers that and they've had some unbelievable stuff. I remember Johnny Depp came one time in character.
Oh, Parts of the Caribbean, right?
No.
I thought that he did.
No. That was the thing at a Disney convention.
Oh, okay.
And he actually also wore his outfit at a children's hospital, and he would go as Captain Jack, the character, and visit all these sick children. Which that just got to melt your heart. Let's hear it for Johnny Depp. Yay, Johnny Depp! We love Johnny Depp. I love Johnny Depp. But no, it was Johnny Depp came out as the character. I forget the name of it. The wizard, the evil wizard from Fantastic Beasts. And he came out. It was unbelievable. He came out while I was backstage, and he was all. They had him all hiding in a shroud and.
So wait, even backstage,
Even backstage, they said, "Don't bother Johnny." I was like, "No problem." And he came, like I said, he came out in character because some of them are very much focused. Tom Hiddleston also came out as Loki.
Oh no! Did the people in the cons know that he was going to do that, or was
No,
it
it was
surprise?
total surprise. They try to. A lot of these stunts or whatever are surprises. They won't tell anybody because that would ruin the surprise. I mean, wouldn't it just make you freak out? I mean, like when Tom Hiddleston came out as Loki, I saw him coming in the back door all dressed up, and they said, "Please don't bother him." He even came up to me and was like, "Not now." And I was like, "Hey, I'm not going to bother. I know the rules." So I just saw him. I was like, "Wow, he committed." And then he came out on stage, and the women were like, "Ah!" They were just fawning over because a lot of the girls like Loki, and he was just unbelievable. And then as soon as he ended his thing, he came backstage, and then he was like, "Okay, pictures are great." And he was back into being Tom Hiddleston and not Loki because. He's just...
so wait, he got into the Loki character.
Exactly. He was in the Loki character.
Backstage,
so he didn't want to be dissuaded or anything. And so, things like that are what bring people to Comic-Con because they know they're going to do things there first before anywhere else. And these are just amazing things. They want the fans to be excited, and they're excited. A lot of these filmmakers are fans themselves. So they're like, "Oh my God!" I've seen some of them come back and watch other panels. I want to see the new trailer for Justice League, or I want to see the new trailer for Avengers. I remember they had Stan Lee come back and he posed with the whole cast of Deadpool and X-Men and all this, and he did a selfie. And Chris Hardwick took the picture with his, what do you call it?
Selfie stick.
Selfie stick, exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Johnny says New York Comic-Con at the Javits Center. It's a fun, fair community. Oh, that's cool. So wait, so Comic-Con, the big one, so for those of you guys who don't know, is here in San Diego,
yes.
Right? And so then is it
2 hours south of LA?
Yeah, 2 hours south of LA. Is it secondary to go to the New York Comic-Con, or is it actually as big now?
Well, I'll be honest, I've never been to New York Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. I would love to go to New York Comic-Con. Please bring me New York Comic-Con. Please bring me.
Bring him.
Because I know, I've gotten to know a lot of people. It's a small community in the comic book world, before the movies and the stuff, the artists came first, and those are the ones that are near and dear to my heart, the artists, the creators that done it. And we need to also acknowledge them because they're just, their imagination, their minds, like again, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Frank Miller, people of that, Mike Mignola, people of that, Todd McFarlane. I could go on forever. But those guys are the guys that came up with it, and those are the ones that inspired a lot of these filmmakers. They grew up with these characters, with these comics, reading them, and they're like, I want to bring that to the silver screen. So, the artists are so not, they're the unsung heroes, and I think that's kind of sad. But before the movies came out, there were the comics, and that's when I first started going to Comic-Con. It was 1992 when I made my first trek down to San Diego.
So almost 30 years ago. Well, it was just comics at the time, right? It was books and comics and artists.
It was mainly comics. It was a big deal. Like we had William Shatner there was promoting the comic adaptation of Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country. So it was like, ooh, William Shatner, who was 90 years old. Happy birthday, William Shatner. He had a birthday a couple days ago.
And now, how big was it at the time? No, wait, is he really 90?
He's 90.
No, I thought you were joking.
I'm serious. He's 90 years old.
William Shatner is 90?
And he's still kicking. He's still doing those great Priceline commercials. I worked on
90?
I worked on this wonderful film a few years back called Free Enterprise with William Shatner. And he was just hysterical. You know, because you think of him, he's like, you know, T.J. Hooker, and he's, you know, on Boston Legal, and he's so serious. But he does comedy so good. If you haven't seen it, order your copy of Free Enterprise on Amazon, and I'm sure it's on there.
But doesn't he did that lead song singing poetry album in the 60s or something? Rocket Man, yeah. That's comedy.
Yeah, it is comedy because he knows he can't sing, but he does his own little thing. In Free Enterprise, he actually raps, which is kind of cool. He raps.
Oh my! Johnny is like, wow.
Yeah. If Johnny, go see Free Enterprise. Go see it. Believe me, it's worth it. It's so funny just to see Bill Shatner just like tear it up, and he's great at comedy. And the thing I love about Shatner. I'm sorry, Mr. William Shatner, is that...
Mr. Albert L. Ortega.
Is that he has reinvented himself, I don't know how many times, over and over and over again. You know, I mean, he was known as Captain Kirk, and then he was T.J. Hooker, and then in his career, and then he's known for his horse riding, and I mean, he's...
Oh, that's right, he's an equestrian. So now that he's 90 years old, it actually brings up a point. I wonder how many people from the original Star Trek are still kicking, because you know George Takei, right?
I don't know him personally. I love George Takei, that he's gone from an actor to an activist.
Yeah.
You know, and he's standing up for
LGBTQ rights.
Exactly. He's like a great spokesperson, and he's got that great oh my. I love George Takei. And it's Takei, not Takai, because I once called him Takai, and he goes, no, it's not Takai, it's Takei.
He sounds like a total voiceover guy too.
Doesn't he? He has done voiceover work.
Oh, makes sense.
He used to do this. Some of the Godzilla films. He did the English. He would do the English.
That's how he started.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
doing the voiceovers.
No, I don't would say that's how he started, but that's one of his earlier jobs. You know. And
who else is still surviving? If you guys know too, from the original.
Well, we got
Walter
Koenig. He's still around, thank God. Nichelle Nichols.
Mm-hmm. William Shatner, George Takei.
Those four, unfortunately.
Wow, that's crazy.
We lost Leonard when we lost, you know.
Oh, that's right, and
Leonard
Chekhov.
No, Chekhov is still Walter. No, we
lost
lost Scotty.
Scotty, that's it. Scotty, I'm thinking. Oh, and Dr. Bones McCoy.
Yeah.
Too, as well.
Yes, and it's Mr. Spock, not Dr. Spock. I
thought it was Dr. Spock.
No, Dr. Spock, the baby doctor. A lot of people are like, is that Dr. Spock? And I was like, oh, you know how us fans would be like, oh no, no, it's Mr. Spock. Not Dr. Spock.
And all these movies, of course, that we're talking about right now, and shows you can catch on Amazon and DVD box sets, and you can find them available on Amazon Prime as too. So we encourage you to check them out. And right now, we're talking to photographer extraordinaire who's seen everybody, gone to every single red carpet, been around for 30 years. Need I see more? This is Albert L. Ortega, and the L is important because there's two other photographers named Albert Ortega, but this is the one and only L. So if you have any questions or comments, suggestions, you guys leave a comment in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. I have a question, and for those of you who are not familiar with the cons, because I've gone to some of the cons, they are ginormous. You're talking about Hall H. Explain to everybody out there, one, you use the term the panels, so tell them what are the panels, and then two, explain about camping out, because if you're not familiar with the cons, you may not understand what exactly that means.
Okay, let me give you a little
rundown
taste of Comic-Con. So typically Comic-Con runs from a Thursday to a Sunday. If you're lucky, you get the extra day, which is preview night, which is the Wednesday night. And preview night is fun because it's only open from like 6 to 9, but it's a good way for you to get the lay of the land. There's no panels. Sometimes they do show movies and stuff. Like you can see like the season opener for a new show. If you're there for like say Smallville or Supernatural, you get a preview of like say the first episode for the next season.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times they will show movies at night, so there's like Comic-Con at night as well. But the great thing about preview night is that you get to go to the floor, and the floor is great because they have exclusives. Maybe they'll have merchandise. Like I bought this great action figure of Martin Kove's character from Karate Kid.
Aww.
So he was there promoting it that weekend, but you get to buy it how many days before? So it's usually chaos because people are running everywhere. You're not supposed to run, and please don't run because you'll hurt yourself on the floor. But there's actually 2 floors. Like most of the panel is upstairs on the top floor, and then all the goodies are downstairs. So you get to see. You get your. I mean, it's so hard. You can't go in one day. You can't see everything. I mean, you have to hit the floor. You have to hit the floor because that's where you get to see all. You can get a
the merchandise.
Yeah, all the merch, all the great merch, and you get the T-shirts. You get the. I've seen kilts. Yeah, yes, you can get like cups, anything that they can put on a shirt or any
collectibles.
Any collectibles like Star Wars figures. Some of them are like these. Diamond Selects has stuff out there. Every company has stuff out there. I always love to visit the Marvel booth or the DC booth. And they have, like say, Green Lantern will have a panel. Right after the panel, they'll come to the booth and they'll sign autographs for people. Again, you have to line up for those. And
the Star Wars booth.
There is a Star Wars section.
Ooh, okay.
Not just the booth; they have a section.
What is in the Star Wars section?
Well, they have they have an area where they have stars from Star Wars, like Ray Park will be there, Daniel Logan. Peter Mayhew used to be there all the time. Oh, Peter Mayhew.
I know.
Peter Mayhew. Anyway, and they would do autographs or they would take pictures with you. And then like right behind them will be like her universe, Ashley Eckstein, who did the voice of Ashoka. And she's like, what are you talking about?
I know. Well, you know what? I know the Sith guy, though. You guys were just...
The Sith guy.
I knew that.
Ray Park.
I knew that because
Yes.
I know he does martial arts and all that kind of stuff.
He's a great martial artist.
One thing, though, is I noticed when you go through the Star Wars section, it's been so crowded at times. You're like, you can't get through.
People ask me about it all the time. They go, oh, I want to go to Comic-Con. And I go, have you ever been? And they go, no, it's on my bucket list. And I go, are you claustrophobic? And they're like, yeah. I go, then you don't want to go to Comic-Con. Because you can literally just stand there like this, and the crowd will take you.
You're like this.
You're like, I can't move. And the crowd, you just flow with the crowd.
Oh my God, it's like a wave.
Yeah, like a wave.
What do you recommend for people that are going for the first time, like flat shoes or like...
flat shoes. Flat shoes. Wear comfortable shoes because you'll do a lot of walking. I gauge how much I walk at a given time. It's like walking 3 football fields at a time because I'm like going upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, sideways, everywhere. Typically, I mostly hang around in Hall H because that's my gig. That's my area where I basically stay.
Is Hall H the panels or that's the...
There's panels going everywhere.
Now explain
Everywhere.
the panel because if people don't know what the panel...
Well, there's all kinds of panels. There's panels on cosplay. There's panels on cartoons. There's panels on. You can have a panel. You can have you can have multiple panels going on at the same time, and you have to pick and choose and say, well, I'm really interested in this one, but I can't get in because typically Hall H is the big room, so it's hard a lot of times unless you put in some time to wait in line. Chance of getting in there is pretty
What
slim.
can people... and Johnny says, Johnny Storm, flame on. Very cool.
Flame on, Johnny.
So what can people expect to see in these panels?
Again, you can see anything and everything. There's gays in comics. There's African Americans that work in comics. There are Asian in comics. There's a panel just about everything. How to cosplay, video games. I mean, there's something for everything. I mean, they even have an area if you bring your kids, little ones, where you can leave your little kids and they'll watch them for you.
What?
And, yeah, they have a little area where you can just bring your kids for
free.
For free, yeah.
And they have things to do, activities for children.
If you ever want to go to Comic-Con, a great way to do it, and you don't have a lot of money, is you volunteer. You can volunteer and you get in. So many hours a day you volunteer, like 2 hours a day, whatever.
What?
Yeah. If you have a budget, and you're like, I really want to go to Comic-Con, but I just don't have the money. You go, hey, I'll go and volunteer, whether it's working with children or watching a room, or there's all kinds of things you can do there, and they will compensate you.
That is really cool. Now I have no idea, like how much typically is a ticket these days? Because I know Comic-Con's been going on for a couple of decades now. How much is it to go to?
$5? No, not $5. I'm kidding. It's like $45.
Oh, it's $45 to go.
It's I mean the price. I'll be honest. I don't know because
You get in because of what you do, right?
I haven't paid for Comic-Con since 1992, and thank you Comic-Con for bringing me on. It was really nice. You know, it was one of those things when I first went to Comic-Con. What I did to get into their good graces is that I would go and cover a variety of events, shoot everything. So I would have a nice catalog of everything. Just
to show them.
Just to show them and
Right.
present it to them. And David Glanzer, who is the head of communications and publicity, and I presented to him. He was like, "Wow, you covered everything." And he was like, "Would you like to join us?" And I was like, "Yes, please. Yes, please." So,
what is your favorite of all-time panel that you've had the opportunity to watch live?
oh my God, there's so many. There's too many.
X-Men or?
I mean, X-Men.
Star Wars.
Star Wars is when Star Wars when J.J. Abrams first brought Star Wars back, there was an unbelievable panel of course they had John Boyega and Daisy Ridley and the new cast, but they also brought Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher, and Carrie Fisher's dog Gary.
What?
Gary was there too. Gary's Carrie Fisher's dog. So they were all there at Comic-Con. All of these people, and of course we're like, and I was backstage with filmmaker Kevin Smith, who's a dear friend of mine. I love Kevin Smith, and I've known Kevin Smith since he came to Comic-Con and he was promoting Clerks. So we have history.
Oh my gosh!
I
Wow.
mean, and the thing about Kevin is that he gets it. He knows it. He's a fan himself. And
right.
So he's backstage, and him and Jason Mewes were backstage, and I was like trying to Kevin, come here, and he was up against the wall. I was like, no. He was so intimidated. He was like,
what?
No. He was standing up.
By Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're Hollywood royalty. And it was just like, I was like, you got to pose. And he was like, no.
So, no, wait,
I'm good.
He was scared to go over and meet them. Did they know who he was?
Oh, yeah, everybody. I mean, Mark Hamill worked with him.
Okay. Wait, he was afraid to go over there?
Well, I think he was a little intimidated, just at the time, because it was a huge moment. I mean,
triumvirate.
I mean, it was. They had even Star Wars. The Star Wars Celebration didn't have all these people. They had Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, but they didn't have Harrison Ford. No.
Would he be the hardest one to get? Do you think at the time?
Yeah. I mean, Harrison is a kind of like I don't want to say standoffish, but kind of like a shy kind of guy. Just like, I mean, when he was cast as Han Solo, I mean, he was reading lines again with the actors. He was a carpenter back then.
Yeah.
And he, and George was like, you want to read against, all these guys that came in for Luke Skywalker, and he's like, that's sorry, Harrison.
So he just happened to be there, being a carpenter at the time.
Yeah, he was working with George. He was working on his house or what have you. That's the stories that I hear. Don't quote me. So and then it goes. I think we got our Han Solo. I mean, he's the perfect Han Solo.
He really is. And I heard that Mark Hamill was the first person they auditioned, the first person in
really?
the door. Yeah, that he happened to be the first person in, and that nobody else could beat him, and he got the role. And then I heard that Harrison Ford was a carpenter and knew him because of American Graffiti or something.
Yeah.
And was working, and they said, "Here, can you read these lines?"
Yeah.
And they're like,
him and George had worked together on.
Yeah, and they said that nobody was beating him.
Yeah.
So they went ahead and just said, why don't you just play this role? But didn't they think it wasn't going to be as big? That Carrie Fisher said she thought it was, a little space movie.
Right.
Nobody was going to see.
I honestly don't think that any of them knew. I mean, the funny story that I hear about David Prowse, David, we pray a lot on this show, who played Darth Vader. He was a bodybuilder. He was a big guy. And he honestly thought they were going to use his British voice as Darth Vader, not knowing that they were going to bring in James Earl Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, James.
Which is perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was doing a lot. You can probably catch it on YouTube, him doing the lines through his helmet. But I don't think he was too happy that they brought in James Earl Jones. We're all happy.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you guys can check out Star Wars, all the movies, DVD, Blu-ray, box sets, and also on Prime, Amazon Prime here by watching. If you haven't checked them all out, I actually haven't checked them all out, and I know you think that's sacrilege. I'm going to ask you, and I've asked people before that are huge fans of the Star Wars series, the Star Wars franchise, when you watch that first movie, because I know you're going to remember, where were you? What was the situation? How did it impact your life?
I saw all the first 3 Star Wars, which was actually 4, 5, and 6, at the AFCO Cinema in Westwood. Every single one of them. And we were like...
How old were you? Like, were you with
oh my
your
God.
mom and dad?
I was with... Well, No, I was with my dad, and my
Okay.
dad took like the local kids, you know, on our block.
Oh.
Yeah. So Star Wars, we kind of.
And how old were you?
I want to say 10.
Okay.
Something like that. And I was with my friend Andy Evans, and he kept lying to the people. He goes like, "Oh, you know, I had to go to the bathroom, and this guy was holding my place." And they're like, "What?" And we kept jumping in line.
No.
Yes, he was.
How
He
long
was a
was the
schemer.
line?
The line was huge. It was around the block. It was not opening day or anything like a lot of these. It was probably already out for a month or so. But it was, and we got pretty close up there, you know, oh, this guy's saving my spot. Oh, yeah. So then when we got up there, you know, we were sitting up close to the front and we saw the Star Destroyer go over and we're like, oh, I've never seen anything. It was just like unbelievable. But by the time I was in, like years later when I saw The Empire Strikes Back, which is the best Star Wars movie of all.
I agree.
Empire Strikes
It's
Back.
funny you say that. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree? Let us know.
Empire Strikes Back.
But what about when you saw, like, when I saw the words go up?
Oh,
and
the
you
scroll.
The scroll.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't that just impact you alone? Just watching, like, what is this?
I mean, it was a roller coaster right from the beginning to the end. I mean, you've never seen a scroll like that in film before.
Mhm.
So it was like, what is this? You know, words hanging in space, and then this, you know, it fades, and then you see, like I said, you go
the
down
Star
to
Destroyer comes in.
yeah. Well, you pan down to Tatooine, and you just see this planet, and you're like, wow. And then you see the rebel ship fly by, and that was like, whoa. And then you see then when you see the Star Destroyer come over, you're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then it's just after that, I was just like the whole time just like, oh, what's coming up next? And then there was the mushy stuff, of course, when but then can you
But
believe
ladies like the mushy stuff.
the ladies like the mushy
That's
stuff.
one of the things in Empire Strikes Back. Ladies love the mushy stuff between Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. You know, but so did you know that movie was going to have the impact on society, have the impact on special effects,
Yes.
impact on the movie industry on the whole? Did you understand that at the time? Because I knew people were saying, my dad said, we have to see this movie because it's a very important movie, people are saying.
It is. I mean, bar none, of all the films that have come out in our generation, Star Wars, I think, has been the most impacted on people's lives in terms of their future careers in production designers, costume designers, makeup artists, other directors, producers, and they were all influenced by Star Wars. Just that first scroll, I mean, to the end, the Death Star.
Thank you, Johnny. Star Wars: A New Hope is 1977. Thank you so much for letting us know that.
There you go.
Darth Vader and the Stormtrooper scene. Oh, okay, Johnny, you mean when he comes in, is Darth Vader in the middle, right? And the door opens and the Stormtroopers behind him and they come in to see Princess Leia, right? Is that what you're talking about, Johnny?
I think that's what Johnny's talking about. When you see, after the Star Destroyer basically takes the rebel ship, and then they, break down the door.
Well, and also what I think is so impactful is that David Prowse is so tall. But I wonder, did they get really small stormtroopers? Because I remember seeing that, and he looked like this behemoth of a giant coming through and walking down that hallway.
David Prowse was a pretty tall guy. He was, and again, he was a bodybuilder, so he was a big guy. And it would look really weird if they had stormtroopers taller than Darth Vader. So I think they were average height. I don't think they didn't have little stormtroopers.
Little stormtroopers.
They kind of, most of the stormtroopers that I see, and I see a lot of stormtroopers, they're all pretty much the same size. There are some small, and there are actually some female stormtroopers, because you can't see under the helmet, and because there are a lot of girls that are into the genre as well.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
I mean, at first, it was very much a male thing, and it was, I don't know if they, girls should play with Barbies, they shouldn't, but there are a lot, let me tell you, there are a lot of female fans out there in the genre, and why not? Why can't a girl say, like, I want to be a stormtrooper?
Oh, absolutely.
It's, it shouldn't have to just play with Barbies. There's nothing wrong with a girl that wants to play with action figures and with stuff. I mean, like I said, some of the best cosplayers, some of my best friends that are cosplayers are ladies.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the most used ladies' outfits would probably be Princess Leia: Empire Strikes Back when she's got Jabba the Hutt Remember in
Oh, Slave Leia.
Yeah,
Slave
that,
Leia.
So how many times do you see that at Comic-Con? Because I've seen it when people are walking around Slave Leia all over the place.
Tons. That's one of the most popular. Because that was the third film that came out. And that was when I was more like a teenager and and that's when your hormones were racing. You're like, So when she comes out and then they first reveal her in
that outfit.
In the bikini. And everyone's like, what?
I know. Well, now you knew Peter Mayhew personally. Yeah. I've met him before. How tall was he? Because he's another person that I know.
Oh, he's 7 foot something.
Is that considered a proper terminology? A person who is a giant? Or just super tall person? I don't know.
Are we trying to be politically correct?
I'm trying to be politically correct. But I just remember he's so exceptionally tall.
Yes.
And in his later years when we saw him, he would have a cane, I think, because he was so tall, right?
I think basketball players also, they tend to, when people are of that height, they tend to, their knees tend to go. So he had to have knee replacement surgery. Mm-hmm. So that's why he had to walk with a cane and sometimes in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. And
but he was still going to the cons.
Oh yeah, he loved his fans. He loved his fans. The fans loved him. He's Chewy.
I know.
Who doesn't love Chewy?
I know, and I remember when he was at Comic-Con, and then also because he lived in Grapevine in Texas, where I'm from, he would always go to the Texas cons because they were close.
Oh, yeah.
He and his wife would go.
Yeah, Angie.
Angie would go all the time.
Yeah.
And Johnny says Clone Troopers. When were the Clone Troopers? What episodes were the Clone Troopers? Because there were Stormtroopers, and then there were the Clone Troopers.
Clone Troopers came later on in episode 2.
Which was really
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of the newer episodes? And because I always think of the classic 3, right?
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Because those are the ones we grew up with.
Right, and they so impacted us, and everybody had the little toys and the figurines, all of which you can find here on Amazon. What do you think of the new ones? Okay, you guys. I'm going to ask him this question. What do you think of Disney's? It was the Mandalorian, and what do you think?
I absolutely loved The Mandalorian. I thought The Mandalorian was just so great. Pedro Pascal did a wonderful job on it. Everyone loved little baby Yoda.
I'm obsessed with Baby Yoda.
No more Baby Yoda.
I say Baby Yoda, and you know what?
Grogu.
We've actually gone at Christmas time. We went to Amazon because that was one of the few places we could actually find the Baby Yoda stuff at the time.
I bet.
And we got all this crazy Baby Yoda stuff for all the kids in the family.
Grogu.
Grogu. And we found all these baby stuff plush toy Baby Yodas on Amazon, and we were able to get them there. But yeah, talk about that, and also how John, the director, John Favreau, he purposely held back the merchandising at the beginning, so people wouldn't see who Baby Yoda looked like.
I don't know about that. That must be something else that I didn't hear about. I mean, it's clever. If it wasn't for John Favreau, thank you, John Favreau. Mm-hmm. John Favreau also directed Iron Man, so he brought us.
Oh, Iron Man, Baby Yoda.
No, Baby Yoda.
It's Baby Yoda. Everybody knows it's Baby Yoda.
You know how many cats and dogs are probably named Grogu now
because of Baby Yoda.
Because of Baby Yoda.
I'm obsessed with Baby Yoda. I really am. And
it sounds better than Grogu, I guess.
Doug Jeffrey Fit over 50. He has a couple of Baby Yoda shirts. I have a Christmas Baby Yoda sweatshirt that I got on Amazon, and then we got all the Fifth Son Baby Yoda merchandising we actually got here on Amazon too, because there's all sorts of Baby Yoda stuff there.
This is the great thing about Amazon is that you can actually go on your laptop or your computer, is you can order something and get it the next day.
This is the thing. You tell me, because people have told us out there, and Gina, if you're out there, whoever's out there, let us know. Have you ever ordered something in the morning from Amazon and it's gotten there at the end of the day? Because that is what...
Has that happened?
That's what happened to somebody on thing. Oh, thank you so much, you guys, for putting this right now. This is the Star Wars, the Child Animatronic Edition 7.2-inch doll. And this is, what is his name?
Grogu.
This is Grogu, you guys. You can see him in the chat. I say it's Baby Yoda, but that is Grogu. And and I know this is our producer is telling us that it's not Baby Yoda as well. So anyways, you guys, you can see him right there, and he is available on Amazon. So if you guys want to take a peek at him, you most certainly can. And also, since Albert L. Ortega is here, if you guys...
Send me one.
Yeah, he wants one.
Give me one.
He wants one. I'm trying to turn on this thing right here.
Every day is Christmas at Amazon, right?
Absolutely.
When you get a package, it's like Christmas?
It is. That's what we got. That's what we were saying. How do I turn this on? I'm trying to turn this on so I can show you guys some of the neat items that are available here on Amazon that, Albert knows all about because if you guys are just tuning in, this is Albert L. Ortega. He is a celebrity photographer here in Hollywood, and he's been around forever. Everybody knows him here. He walks
Just
the
can't get rid of me.
You can't get rid of him. He's gone to every single premiere, movie premiere.
Like gum on the bottom of your shoe.
Thank you. Every single event. And he's really got the pulse on the beat of what is Hollywood. All the red carpets, all the cons, and we're talking about the cons. I had another question about the cons for people who don't understand.
There's cons for everything.
There is cons for everything, and let me know, you guys, if you've been to the cons and what cons you've been to. But we're talking about, and a lot of people don't understand this concept, camping out. What do you mean by camping out at the con? Because you've never gone to Comic-Con, it doesn't make sense. What is it?
Well, if there's something you really, really want to see, and it's like we were saying earlier, it's typically in Hall H. Hall H is like the golden ticket. Like, I'm in Hall H. But if there's like something that you really want to see, there's probably hundreds and thousands of other people that want to see it too. So, I mean, in fairness, the only way they can do it is a first come, first served basis. So if there's something you really want to see, you have to wait in line and you have to put a little effort into it. And so there's a commitment. And again, we really didn't see that as much as we saw it with the Twilight films. The Twilight films were huge when they came out, and more people knew that if they were gonna see any new kind of footage or a new trailer and the cast to do a Q&A, it would be at Comic-Con. So then you would get a large group of people that would wait in line. And overnight, they would sleep in sleeping bags. And Comic-Con was nice enough to put tents up.
Are you sleeping inside the convention, or are you sleeping outside?
No, you're sleeping outside.
Oh!
In the elements.
So you're not even inside the convention?
No, they have to have those closed off for security reasons. You don't want people in there.
Oh, my goodness. So wait, when you go to these panels they're waiting for, do you get to be up close and personal with the actual people that are in the movie or making the movie?
Yeah, we try not to because we don't want to obscure the fans' vision of seeing these great people. So typically what I'll do is I'll kind of put myself in the front and crouch down a bit and get them as they're coming up on stage, and then I'll go off to the side and then they'll periodically come in, in and out, in and out, in and out, and. Sometimes what I will do, if I know it's got a huge fan base, like I've done it with Supernatural, is that they're there typically for an hour doing Q&As, and then once I figure that I have enough imagery, I'll go around the crowd, especially people in the way back, sometimes people in the handicap section, and I'll ask them for their camera, and they'll say like, what? I said, I'll be right back, and I'll go up and I'll take a couple of shots with their camera, and I'll give it back to them, just to give them a little. Because they weren't lucky enough to get to the front, and everybody wants to be in the front. So I will do that on occasion. Not every time, so please don't give me all your cameras. Just if I have time and I know that I've secured my work already. Just my way of, giving back a little to the people. So sorry for being in your way.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Now, actually, we have some items that we just found here on Amazon that we thought we'd show you, and Albert can talk about them because he really, I think you know so much. Do you know so much? Tell me about this, because you are one, a fan, two, you've been in the business so long and you see everybody and you go to all the premieres, or is it a combination of both?
First and foremost, I'm a fan. I love what I love what I do, and I love the fact that I can make a living at it. Sort of. But the great thing is the opportunity to see these people and to be on like I said, I was on the ground floor at Comic-Con when it was just comic book artists and a few sprinkled in celebrities. But it wasn't about celebrities. It was about, it's grown into be this huge phenomenon. And I was there, not at the very beginning, but close to the beginning. And basically the reason why I went to Comic-Con was I wanted to see these artists because a lot of them were my heroes, and I wanted to be. I was so jealous. I was like, I wish I could draw like Jim Lee or Mark Silvestri or Neil Adams or Bill Sienkiewicz. I mean, these are phenomenal artists, and I looked up to them. And as my interest also started going into into movies and stuff. Because at first, I'm a huge fan. I love movies. I love TV. I love the personalities. I love the whole facade of Hollywood. I love all that stuff. So the fact that I'm knowledgeable, when I was working at Wire Image a few years back, they go like, I don't know, go ask IMDb. So I was IMDb. They're like, who's that? And I was like, well, that was so and so in this movie, blah 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 blah. And I was just spawning out. Like, that's all we need. We just need the name. We don't need all this other back stuff. But if you're a fan and you're passionate about something, that's going to help you along the way. So when I would see and I've seen a lot of people come and I've seen a lot of people go, typically young people, that's like, I went to so-and-so and I studied photography, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, what's your favorite show? Oh, I don't watch television. What?
Oh my gosh, I know.
What movie is your favorite? Well, I don't go to movies. So it's like, what? They were just pure artists. They just wanted to shoot photography. And I was kind of like, well, this isn't for you. I understand you were a photographer. But there's a lot of stuff you do have to put up with. There's the waiting, the squishing sometimes, the elements. When we cover these award shows like the Emmys and stuff.
Oh, if it's cold.
Oh,
or if
it's
hot.
Typically not cold. It's usually hot. Like the Emmys are in September or in the fall, and we're in tuxedos, and you're just like dripping in sweat. It's disgusting.
No.
And you're hot and you're screaming and you're uncomfortable
But you're so excited because you're a fan too, that it makes it worth some of the discomfort that you have to go through all the time.
Yeah, you do. And you think about at the time, you got the adrenaline going and stuff, but you're so uncomfortable. I remember one time I was like, I'm going to be smart this time. You have to bring tons and tons of water because otherwise you're parched. They typically have ice and things, so I got a wet towel and I soaked it in the water and I just strung it out and put it around my neck. Oh man, it was like, so great. Because you're out there for hours, you're out there typically for an award show for 4 or 5 hours.
No shade on the red carpet.
And we always tell them, guys, you guys can put a shade over us. And they're like, yeah, it's not in the budget and stuff.
As usual,
yeah.
right?
But then I find out later on that they want the photographers uncomfortable and they want them all hyped up because it makes for good television, because you get a lot of time you have the TV cameras across the way or whatever that are
and you are
videotaping
moving
them.
and doing
we look look, they're arguing, they look so great for television. And it's just like, we're like human props, we're doing it for video.
Oh my gosh.
I overheard a conversation of a PR person saying,
hello, I'm back. What are you talking about? Thank you so much for asking. We have celebrity photographer extraordinaire, and this is Albert L. Ortega, and he works for a company called Getty Images here. And everybody knows Albert because he's at all the events. He's usually at all the cons, the red carpets, the movie premieres, and we're just talking all things celebrity. It is so much fun. Now, I want to ask you, out of all the people that you've seen through all these years, which is decades, who was the person you were most excited to see in person? Is there one person? Oh, and they said Getty Images. That's amazing. Yep, that's him right there.
Well, you have to understand, Getty Images is a huge company.
Yes.
And there's many, many photographers. And I'm just one little photographer. Just a baby photographer. But, Getty is great. They're a great company to work for. And I'm very thankful that they asked me to come aboard. And they mainly came, they wanted me aboard because they knew that I was a genre guy. So it's like, we got the red carpet covered. We know we have tons of photographers that contribute to us, that give us that stuff. But you have that one unique thing that you have that hook into, that you have this great relationship with Comic-Con, and we want to be a part of that. And I said, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to get the word out. And Getty, let me tell you, is a team. They bring a whole team to Comic-Con. So when I shoot a panel, I will text my wife, who works for Comic-Con as well, and I said, hey, I got a really cool card. I didn't know that Ben Affleck was going to come out here, because they are sometimes they'll have surprises. Like the last Comic-Con 2019, it was not on any of the schedules. It was not hyped, but Tom Cruise showed up to promote and show an exclusive trailer of Top Gun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that is crazy.
It just happened to be, hey, here comes Conan O'Brien. I was like, Conan O'Brien? What? That's not on my schedule. And he introduces, hey, and blah, blah, blah,
Well, did you not? Were you in the panel? Oh,
I didn't even know. It was hinted. They're like, oh, there's a good chance Tom Cruise might be there. I'm like, and the people would ask me, they goes, we hear that Tom Cruise might come. Do you know? I said, I have no idea. No one's telling me because they want me to be surprised too. No one's saying anything, and of course they have to guard the secret, and that's fine because being a fan, it's very cool when I get surprised by stuff. It's like sometimes it's not good to know, and a lot of times I'm surprised as well.
You don't want to ruin the surprise.
Yeah.
We have a question.
Yes.
Albert,
yes.
I would be starstruck every day if I was in your position. Did you find yourself that way when you first started? That's a great question. Totally. I would be completely starstruck all the time. Were you at the beginning, and are you now?
I'm still now. What are you talking about? I'm still starstruck and stuff, but you kind of have to, keep that down.
Who
low.
are you still starstruck by? Star Wars people?
Yes, I if I see anybody from Star Wars, if I see Harrison Ford, if I see Mark Hamill, or any of those, because William Shatner, Sir Patrick Stewart. I think Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Sir Patrick Stewart is he's my favorite captain. Sorry, Bill Shatner. But Captain Picard is I loved him in Excalibur when I first shot him. When I first photographed him, before I even met him, I was a huge fan of him from Dune, Excalibur, so many other films. And when they said that we were going to bring him on as the new captain, I was like, what?
Well, what do you think of Picard?
The show Picard.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I really liked the fact that that Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick, I beg your pardon, Sir Patrick. Was again, that was another surprise. I was at a creation convention in Las Vegas.
Now, what is Creation Convention for those who are out there?
Creation Entertainment is a company that specializes in science fiction genre conventions. They've done everything from Star Trek is their bread and butter. That's their most popular thing, and they know it to a science conventions. They do supernatural conventions. They do Farscape conventions. I know they've done Fangoria conventions for horror.
Oh, I love those. If you guys have been to any of these, please let us know. I got a comment. OMG, Dune, great movie. Is that
right? Dune?
Dune is like how old, from the 80s, right? Is Sting in Dune?
He is in Dune. But
and he's wearing that little tiny costume that you can barely see that it's a costume. He's like wearing this one little thing. And he's standing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't seen Dune in a long time. Like, what is so great? I don't remember.
Dune, David Lynch's Dune, who he directed Dune. It's one of those films that just I love. It's one of my personal favorites. I just watch it at least once a month. I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of Dune. I just love Dune to death.
Do you catch something new in it?
I just like the nuance. I love the music. I love Patrick Stewart in it.
I didn't even know Patrick Stewart's in it. It says 80s. Oh, is Zoe? Johnny said Zoe.
Zoe Saldana. She's not in Dune. Actually, maybe you're getting Zoe Saldana mixed up with Zendaya. Now there is a new Dune coming out.
Oh no, Joe.
A new Dune.
Who's in it?
Dave Bautista.
Oh, the big guy.
Big guy.
Dave from what is that? Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Okay.
Yeah. He plays one of the Harkonnens.
That's right. Gina says Guardians.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
Zoe Saldana is in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Zoe Saldana is a sweetheart.
Oh, is she?
Oh, and she's as Gamora. She's so good.
The green lady.
Yes.
She's the green lady, not
the daughter of Thanos.
Oh, okay. Zoe Saldana is in Guardians of the Galaxy.
She is.
She plays Gamora.
Yes.
Thank you. That's
she also played Uhura.
Uhura.
In J.J. Abrams, Nyota Uhura, who is
Michelle Nyota
Uhura.
Nyota Uhura. Sounds like you're saying Japanese, but okay.
Nyota is Japanese.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Nichelle Nichols, who was in the original Star Trek, which actually was a great, real quick segue. I covered the NAACP Awards one year, and Nichelle Nichols was there, and so was Zoe Saldana. So I was like, oh my God, we got to get the two of them. We have to get the two of them. And Zoe Saldana, sweetheart, came running over and posed with Nichelle Nichols, and they did the Vulcan hand jet salute.
Oh, like this whole thing?
Yeah. Thumb out.
Oh, thumb out? What does that mean? Wait.
This was actually introduced by Leonard Nimoy.
Oh,
it's like
he did it?
yes, and it
You
comes
do
from
it too.
Judaism.
It comes from what?
From Judaism.
Oh, it does?
Yes, it's this is the Vulcan salute. This is how they go: live long and prosper, and they live long and prosper. But this is how Vulcans will greet you. If you ever happen to see a Vulcan.
Did you go to that? Speaking of this, it's not there anymore, but I have to ask you, did you go to that Star Wars experience in Vegas?
No, Star Trek experience.
Star Trek experience in Vegas.
Star Trek and Star Wars
I
never
know.
cross the two.
I know. This is what everybody says. You're either one or the other, and it's like DC and Marvel, and people get mad if you get that confused.
Well, that's not true. They also said that like if you like Harry Potter, you can't like Lord of the Rings. I'm like, that's not true. And you can love Star Wars and you can love Star Trek. I mean, there's room for every genre. You can love Marvel and you can love DC. As a kid, I was strictly Marvel. I never bought DC. And I missed out because Neil Adams drew some of the most unbelievable.
Superman.
Yes, he drew Superman. He also did Green Lantern and Green Arrow. He did a lot of unbelievable Batman stuff.
Oh, good morning, Rosalinda. Good morning. Happy Wednesday, Albert and Candace. Happy Wednesday. I like Star Wars better than Star Trek personally. Okay,
that's
so
fine.
That's fine. There's
fine.
One or the other. But did you go to that Star Trek experience?
I did. I went to the opening.
Oh,
I
tell
went
me about
to
it,
the
because I was
opening.
obsessed with that thing.
Oh,
okay.
Have you been? Did you go?
I went so many times. Every time I was in Vegas, because I would go for like work or whatever, gotta go over to that, whatever that hotel was. It the Hilton?
The Hilton.
And go see it, because you know what was so interesting? One, I wish they didn't take it away. When you walk in, there was all that reading material. So it was like you were almost going to like a museum, learning and educating.
It was a museum. It was like a museum. And when you first would walk in, the starships were all lined up on top and showed, oh, there's the Voyager class, there's the Enterprise, and inside was the Quarks. Remember, it was built.
The restaurant.
Yeah, the restaurant was Quarks, which is featured in Deep Space Nine, and Armin Shimmerman. I have a great story about Armin Shimmerman. That this is actually my wife's story. My wife used to work at this place in the Valley. It was like a bed. It was like a Bed Bath and Beyond, but it was for makeup. I forget the name of it. The store. No. They're in
Friends?
No. It was a smaller store.
Nigel's?
No. Keep guessing.
I know all the makeup stores in town. Okay.
It's unfortunately it's not around anymore, and it was in Sherman Oaks.
Cinema Secrets?
No.
Sorry.
It was in the mall. It was not. Cinema Secrets is more kind of like for like the industry.
The industry makeup.
Yeah. This was not industry. This was, but anyway. So Armin would always walk in, who played Quark, and my wife would tell me, she goes, Armin Shimmerman's here, and I was like, there's some way you have to interact with him, but not be so obvious, be a little more covert. I'm like, I got it. Tell him something about Latin. She goes, oh, I got the perfect thing. So Armin would go in with sunglasses and just very quiet, so he wouldn't be bothered. And the great thing about people that wear makeup can be more discreet. They can go around in public, because sometimes celebrities get bothered. Can I get an autograph? Can I get a selfie? And it's like, that's not always. They're not always on, so it's not the best thing. Anyway, so Armin would come in and he would always buy a certain cream that he liked to put on after his makeup, because he would be in the makeup chair for hours. And he had that prosthetic stuff on all the time, and it probably wreaked havoc on his skin. Mm-hmm. So he liked this great stuff that he would buy. Red Earth, that was the name of the store. Red Earth.
They were saying Ulta, Sephora.
No.
And they love Baby Yoda, so adorable.
Who doesn't love Baby Yoda?
I know, who doesn't love Baby Yoda?
Grogu.
So Grogu.
Where's Doug?
Where's Doug?
Where's Doug?
Oh,
Doug had to go to.
Doug had to go to his regular job. Yeah. So
we will think of Doug, though.
Yes, definitely.
Should we get a stand? Maybe we should get a stand-up of Doug and just have him here all the time.
Plastic, just like a cardboard cutout of Doug.
A cardboard cutout.
That would be so good, because when he left, people were saying bye, Doug. So yeah, we should. Oh, Doug is so handsome. Oh, we'll have to tell him that.
Oh,
we'll have to tell him that's
his head's going to get huge. What are we going to do? We won't be able to
push us out of the.
We won't be able to sit in the same
room with him. So as you were saying.
Anyway, so he comes up with he's at Red Earth, and he has his purchase, and he puts it down on the counter. My wife's about to ring it up, and you usually go as a cash credit or whatever. So she goes, "Will it be cash, credit, or gold platinum?" Which is the monetary
denomination of for the
Quark would, Latinum. They loved the Ferengi, loved Latinum. They were all about getting wealth and stuff. And Armin heard that, and he just goes like, and she's like, the jig is up. I know who you are.
Did he laugh though? He must have thought it was funny.
He was a little taken back, and then she told me the story, and I was like, that's a great story. I got to tell that story to everybody I know. And I have yet, I don't remember because I've worked with Armin on a couple of independent things. And I don't know if I ever told him that story. If I did, Armin, I need to tell you that story.
Can you make the connection right there?
I go, my wife knows who you are, and she ratted you out to me.
Oh, that's so funny. I love the pink jacket. Your story's very clever, haha. And rosy. Yes, it was a very rosy jacket indeed.
Right, it works. Tell him he was a little hesitant about the color.
I made him buy that the other day, and he said, "This is like the monkey in the organ grinder. You're the organ grinder telling me what to do." No,
I thought it worked. I thought it looked good in him.
Yeah, because you asked for something bright, and so we thought, okay.
I do. I always tell people, it's always good to wear bright colors. I tell that to the ladies, the females that go up on the red carpets, and we said like. I like black. I mean, typically they say, well, I like black because it's slimming. And I go, yeah, but do you want to be featured in a lot of these magazines? And they're like, well, yeah, then don't wear black. Don't wear black, don't wear white, don't wear gray. I mean, sometimes you can wear black if it's unique, but if it's just a plain black dress.
Because it's a million black dresses.
Exactly. And most people, I go, you really want to stand out? I mean, I went to this one event, I remember, and the photo editors, they always look for what pops out. And red always is the number one, because that just pops on the red carpet. Boom, it stands out. Bright colors, greens, pastels, whatever. And I think the on the invite it said everyone has to wear black for whatever reason, and somebody was smart enough to wear like a red, and they got on. And mind you, this was not like a huge A-list celebrity either. She was kind of like a C-D-list celebrity. And she got featured in the biggest picture because she was wearing color. Right. I'm sure that probably ticked off a lot of the main stars that were like, oh, so I'm not in there. I mean, also, but if you're like an Angelina Jolie, you're going to run because you're Angelina Jolie. I mean, not because she can wear any color. She can wear potato sack and she'll still be featured because she's a huge A-list star. Or a Charlize Theron or a Jennifer Lawrence, they can get away with it. But if you're like a mid-level star, they've only had like, hey, if you blinked, you missed them on television, you're not going to get featured. So I always tell my friends, I go, you really want to be, in the featured in the mag, in styles, when you open up the People magazine or Us magazine, right away, the first thing you see are all the fashion pictures right there of what people are wearing. And so if you want
always bright color.
If you want to be featured, ladies, wear color, don't wear black.
Well, Johnny says Doug is a nice person. Al is a funny person.
Thank you.
Michael said Albert Einstein again. And then Gina said, next time I come on with you, I'm wearing bright. LOL, haha. It is actually a really, really good thing that it's one of the things that he taught me right off the way is to always wear color. Yeah. Because I always think, wear black, but no, you always have to wear color.
Yeah, black is a kiss of death. People,
there you are wearing black.
And here, well, I'm not a lady, and I have a lot of black in me. I mean, I wear a lot of black, but this is kind of like business wear. It's just kind of, I'm going to work, so
and
I'm
wearing
black.
A tie.
Yes, my friend's size.
Wearing his vest.
Yes, I'm wearing a vest.
This
is the most dressed up I've been in a year.
Usually that's what he's telling me. You were just saying that.
For a whole year, I didn't even wear pants. I wore shorts only.
What?
That's it. All I wore was shorts.
Well, what about like in the wintertime?
Well, then I wore pants, but I was indoors most of the time.
Well, you're wearing nice pants today. He's got boots. Oh, you said you look very spiffy, Al.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And you always tend to go with black as well. I do too because I just don't think about it. And I used to work in IT, so we'd wear black shirt, black pants, black shoes, black vest, black jacket, black everything because you can't go wrong with black. And, going to IT conventions and all that, you wear from black from head to toe, and I got black hair. So it was all just black.
Just a sea of black and just like a little face.
Yeah, a little round, floating face in the middle of nothing. But actually, I want to go back to Star Trek Experience for those of you guys who didn't get to go, because I went.
Shame on you.
Every time I would go to Vegas, I would go, because what I thought was interesting, too, do you remember when you walked in, the lights went out with your group? They put you in with the group. The light, something like happens on the ship, right? Because you're on a ship. No, the lights go out. Yeah. And when the lights turn on, you are in a different room. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
The first time you experienced that, was it just the weirdest thing for you?
I was kind of excited, but you know, unfortunately, I got to go in before that. And
You got to go in.
I got in
What
to go in
was the
before.
premiere like? Because you got to go to the premiere.
Well, I used to joke around and go like, Jonathan Frakes cut in line in front of me. I was like, hey, it's like, well, just because you're directed, you know, the movie doesn't mean you get to go. Or he directed the scenes in there. Jonathan Frakes has blossomed as a director. I mean, his first.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jonathan Frakes. One of the great things about Star Trek, the franchise, I'm just going to segue again, is that they let a lot of the actors direct. I mean, I'm sure that probably frustrates the Directors Academy, you know, the DGA, but a lot of people in the casts have become directors. LeVar Burton is a phenomenal director. Robert Duncan McNeil, who was on Voyager, doesn't really act anymore. He directs. He was a producer on Chuck, if you remember Chuck, the show Chuck. Tim Russ, I just worked with him recently. He's a director now.
Oh,
so
wow,
a lot
I
of
didn't
these
even know
guys,
that.
a lot of these actors, Gates McFadden, they get their hands not dirty, but figuratively dirty, and get it behind the director's chair. And Jonathan Frakes directed one of the best Star Trek films, you know, where they meet the Borg for the first time in film.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was, First Contact. Jonathan Frakes directed that.
Oh,
yeah.
So now talk about when Star Trek. It used to be just that there's a big divide too between the people that are is it OLS, the original series, or something, and then the ones that are the new generation people. Like there's a
TOS.
TOS, yeah.
The original series.
Right. Because, I mean, they have Star Trek conventions and everything, but people are real specific about one or the other. If you are a fan
Purists.
of one. Yeah, I've got another question.
Are you a Trekkie or a Trekker?
Yeah, Al.
Yes.
I know you take photos of celebs, but do you also take photos with other genres? Take a picture of Gina's, and do you have your own dark room? You know, that's a good question.
Dark rooms.
Do people do dark rooms anymore? And what other genres do you do?
Genres in photography, you mean? Like travel photography?
You know what? I think she missed, for those of you earlier,
yes.
Is that you do, like, we're talking about, talk about red carpets, cons, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
All the things that you do. For those of you who missed out, what are the things that you typically shoot?
Well, as a photographer, you know, it's like people have to pry my camera out of my hands. I started shooting pictures because there's a difference. They're like, are you a professional photographer, or are you a hobbyist, or are you just a photographer? And they say, what's the difference? I'm like, well, do you make a living at it? And they're like, no, it's just a hobby. Well, I go, then you're a hobbyist. A professional is if you make your living at it, if you make money at it. You know, because I've had, I don't know how many years where people have asked me like, well, we can't pay you, but we can give you a photo credit. And I've been doing this for 30 plus years. And I'm like, well, a photo credit is nice, but I have plenty of photo credits. I mean,
right.
I can just Google myself. I said, I prefer to get paid because that's how I make my living.
Right.
As opposed to someone that has another job, you know, that maybe they shoot on the weekends, or they do friends' weddings, or they do cosplay photography, but their actual job is they work in IT, or they work in a hospital, or whatever. This is all I do, folks. This is all I do, is I'm a photographer.
Right.
And if I'm not able to sell my photography, I don't eat. And I need to eat. I need to eat a lot.
But you go, like, typically how many? Well, Johnny says I like navy, white, and sometimes black. Those are the dark colors, though. That's the thing, is that you're saying to do bright colors.
I do, but unfortunately for us guys, us fellas, if you look in magazines, it's mainly dominated by the gals, because there's only so many different ways you can wear pants and shirts at a top. I mean, what do we have to accessorize? We don't have purses.
You have a nice
well, I have
vest
a vest
today.
Yeah, I have a vest
and
or a tie.
your nice tie that matches.
But that's about it. I mean, we can't wear what are we gonna wear? Gorts or
hats?
Hats, but no, most guys don't wear hats. You know why? It's because it covers your face and it creates a shadow.
It creates a shadow on your eyes. You have to think about
these
things.
So yeah, don't wear caps unless the lighting is even.
This actually brings up a good point. Like, how many events under normal circumstances in normal time do you? Do you go to? How many events in a week typically?
Well, when I used to, please Hollywood, come back, please. Typically, the most I think I've covered in a day is like 3 or 4 events, but that's not the norm. I mean, maybe you'll have like a star on the Walk of Fame, which is around 11:30. Hi, Anna Martinez.
Oh, so I didn't even know that. So whenever somebody gets a star on the Walk of Fame, it's around 11:30 in the morning.
In the morning, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
There was one they actually did in the evening, and that was for David Copperfield, and that was because he was doing some kind of magic trick. But typically, they're always in the morning, and then they come, and then that's about half hour. You know, they're not long.
You can hop.
Yeah, and then from there you'll go, later in the afternoon you will go do a premiere. So that's about the most.
But then what about, because I know a lot of times like you have deadlines to meet, so you're literally working through. Tell us, like, go through what is the day like, because I always know you get stressed out about this. The Academy Awards. What is that day like for you?
Well, the Academy Awards are, if you're lucky enough, you will have like a team. Like, for example, Getty has a whole team that they cover the arrivals, they cover the press room, they cover the actual show indoors, and then they get the runners, which will go and pick up the cards, and then they'll bring them back to the editors, and the editors will work on the imagery and send them out live, so that the magazines that are waiting for this stuff will put them into whatever they're going to use. And it gets faster and faster. Pretty soon you're just going to be, and then some cameras they will wire straight from the camera to editors.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and I don't know how much faster you can get from that. They will have a camera with plugged in, and it goes either straight to the editors, and probably in the future it's going to be more. It'll happen. Yeah, even more streamlined. Maybe you can send it straight to the editor's desk.
So wait, so you normally edit though, because I know that you stay up all night sometimes.
Yeah, typically I don't have a team that works with me other than, say, Comic-Con, which I'm so grateful for, because then I would never sleep.
Oh, my
I'm
gosh.
so grateful to Paul and Angela at Getty.
It says, Al, please take pics of me and make me look good too. LOL. Dog lover. Thank you so much for following us here. Thank you so much. Michael says, click, click. And do you edit your own photos?
Yes.
Or does someone else do it for you?
99% of the time I do my own photos, but if it's like if it's a major event like Comic-Con, where I just don't have the time, the wonderful editors at Getty that come and support me just so much will work on my imagery, so that the photos, so the people like you can see the photos right away, don't have to wait hours or days or, well, hours to see the images, or they get to see them like in minutes.
For people who can't go to Comic-Con or don't have the opportunity to go to these places.
Yeah, exactly. They get to see it, and for the editors that are back in New York or even in Europe, that are waiting for the imagery, they can see it in real time. So it's just wonderful to have a team
that can do this so quick.
Right, yeah.
So when you're going to Comic-Con, not to go back to that, but I was just thinking.
I talk about Comic-Con all day. All day I'll talk about Comic-Con.
But like now, when you go to Comic-Con, there's a question. What program do you use? Photoshop, Lightroom, etc.
I use both, actually. I like Lightroom. I do like the Lightroom, but to get things like going quick, I use Photoshop, yeah.
Okay. That was a great question. And so when you go to Comic-Con, because I know you just said it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Actually, I get there on a Tuesday.
That's what I was about to ask. When do you get there and why?
Tuesday!
Why? And she goes, that's what she uses as well, Photoshop and Lightroom.
Yeah, those are both great programs.
Yeah. So like, why do you have to get there? Are you prepping? Are you getting access to things that most people don't get access to?
Well, the reason why I go on Tuesdays is I don't want to go in there and rush, and
stress out.
Stress out and just be like, oh my God, I'm going. I work there, and my wife Maya, who also works with Comic-Con. She coordinates all the volunteer photographers, and she's got her own team. We go and set up her office. We have this nice office. It's right next to.
Ooh.
Yeah, they provide us with an office.
So you have a place to stop and drop your stuff and sit on the ground and go.
Well, luckily we have chairs. We don't
have
to sit what are we, barbarians? No, we get to sit in the chairs, and we have snacks and coffee and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And the Getty editors also working from that room. So there's a nice home base. So we go on Tuesday so we can get in there in a nice, relaxed atmosphere.
Traffic,
yeah.
It's better to get down.
Traffic is so bad going to Comic-Con. And a lot of people have made this mistake. They're like, oh, I have a panel at 2 o'clock. I'll go there, in the morning.
You won't get in.
You won't get in. You'll hit bumper to bumper.
Oh, really?
Because you know how many people go to Comic-Con?
No,
people from
I don't
all over
understand.
the world go to Comic-Con.
Give us a number, so we can kind of understand, how many, is it thousands?
During the whole time, about anywhere from 150,000 to...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where do they get hotel rooms?
Well, that's the thing. If you want to go to Comic-Con, they book a year in advance. They actually used to joke about this, and it's no joke, on The Big Bang Theory, because they were huge geeks on that and big fans of and Big Bang Theory has also come to Comic-Con.
The show.
Yeah.
The show has come to
year after year. And a lot of those people that are featured on The Big Bang Theory were all, like Katie Sackhoff, George Takei, Carrie Fisher was on it. James Earl Jones did this unbelievably hysterical episode where Sheldon goes and he's fanning out, and he's and he's eating and he's trying to eat, and he goes, let me guess, you like Star Wars? And he's like, and he goes, and you think that he's going to be all irate, and he's like, I love Star Wars too. And then they spend the day together, and Jim Parsons is just brilliant. And at one point in their day, they go to Carrie Fisher's house and they play Ding Dong Ditch. How many people play Ding Dong Ditch when they were kids?
Well, you ring the doorbell and you run.
Exactly, Ding Dong Ditch. So they go to Carrie Fisher's house and they ring the door and they run, and you can hear off screen. She's she comes up to the door and she's like, "This isn't funny, James." And you can hear James Rosen goes, "Yes, it is." It was just.
That's
priceless.
every fanboy's ultimate dream.
Yeah,
you run into James Earl Jones and he spends the whole day with you and takes you to Carrie Fisher's house.
Yes, exactly. Or anybody, what's his name had. I forget his name now. But anyway, there's so many little Easter eggs in that show. Just Will Wheaton popping up, and he's Sheldon's nemesis, and it's just and Will Wheaton is so funny, and he's just is a great guy. I love Will Wheaton.
Oh wait, let's get this because we're going to lose it. Is Comic-Con coming back this year? Comic-Con is in California, right?
Yes, in California, San Diego, 2 hours south of Los Angeles.
And they said they have it in New York, Javits Center, Aqueduct, and Nassau Coliseum. Oh, yes, you're right. To me, black shoes, cold, white shoes, mild and hot season. Oh, clothing, got it. So tell us, is Comic-Con coming back?
Well, I mean, eventually it's going to come back. Typically, like I said, we would be, it's March, it's, towards Easter time, they have a sister show. It's kind of like a prep show. It's called WonderCon. It used to be in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
It used to be in San Francisco, but then it moved to Anaheim. And that's like a mini Comic-Con, which I suggest you guys go to first. It could get you ready for Comic-Con. It's just as fun. They have just as many panels. Not as many. It's only 3 days. It's only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
And then Disneyland is right across the street. Right across the street is Disneyland.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's talk about that too, because Disneyland, isn't there one called that's right across the street? Is it coming back, and what is it about? And have you been there? Star Wars Celebration.
It's in the same place. It's Star Wars Celebration is every other year or every 2 years, something like that.
Have you been to it?
I have. I actually went and I worked for Lucasfilm.
Oh, wow.
I flew out to Florida, Orlando. Hello, Orlando. What's up with the weather?
What do you mean?
What's up with the? It's so. What do you call it? Humid.
Oh,
I got off the plane.
That's what
oh my God! I got off the plane and my glasses immediately fogged up. I'm like,
and your hair goes.
Well,
my hair goes.
Your hair went.
Yeah.
I don't know if my hair went. It went. But I started sweating immediately, and then I would take the first thing you want to do is take a shower. So I took a shower, and then I got out, and I started sweating again. I'm like, oh my God! The only time I was comfortable was when I was in the actual convention center, because they.
What month was it?
It was in summer. So no, it was in August. It was in August.
Oh, that's the heat. That's the heat of the whole summer over there.
Yeah, it was terrible. And then it rained, and it got even more humid.
I know.
And every person who the cab driver, people that were working in the hotel, everybody I met, I was like, "How can you live here? What's going on? What's with the weather? How can you live here. That's what I told everybody because it was so uncomfortable. I guess you get used to it, but it was so uncomfortable. It was terrible. I was schwitzing. I was schwitzing all the time. I was so hot. I was sweaty. It was terrible. I hated it. Oh my God.
So wait, so you've been to Star Wars Celebration?
I have.
What goes? I have not been there. So
Star Wars Celebration. If you're a Star Wars fan, that's the one place to go. Oh my God, these guys built a full-scale TIE fighter. It was unbelievable. They had to bring it in pieces.
What?
Yeah.
Where they put it in the parking lot, or they put it in the convention?
They put it in the convention center. They had to bring it in, like I said, by piece, and it was unbelievable. It was like a full-scale TIE fighter. Of course, everyone. And it was not just like a cheap-looking TIE fighter. It was a real, honest-to-goodness, like, looking. These fans are so passionate that when they build costumes, when they build props, they're almost life-size and just sometimes even better
than the real deal.
Than the real thing. Let me tell you one quick story about Star Wars fans, how great they are. Again, the 501 First,
which are awesome. Explain to everybody. Gino, my son would have loved it. He loves Star Wars. Explain what that is to people who don't know.
The 501 First or
yes.
Star Wars? The 501 First are a group of Star Wars fans that do things for charity. They go to hospitals. They visit sick children. They march in the Hollywood Christmas Parade every year. But the big thing about them is they call it bad guys doing good because a lot of them dress up like they have villains, but they're actually not villains in real life, And people, when you see a stormtrooper, you're like, oh, especially when you see the little kids, and they have all these guys that build droids that will build R2D2s.
They move around and do something.
They move around. They usually fall. And they go, and the little kids, it's just to see a little kid walking around and they see their R2D2 making sounds and going up to them and taking pictures. It's unbelievable. It's so much fun to watch. And when when it's unfortunate in children's hospital that have kids that are not doing good, and they get visited by these characters, or they just go head over heels. It's like, oh my God, and they're usually around Christmas time, or also all year around. But going back to, you would ask me about the Mandalorian. There is a scene in the Mandalorian where they needed a whole bunch of stormtroopers, and they're like, well, we only have so many stormtrooper outfits that we can put like stuntmen in. So what are we going to do? Well, they call the 501 First, and the 501 First.
No way.
Oh yeah, because they have their costumes are screen ready. They're that you can. They're so accurate that they're not just like ones you can buy these costumes at Costco or costume store. No, these are actual real film quality. Yeah, film quality.
And so, how many of them showed up?
Oh, probably 100 or so. To make them,
to flesh it out. Instead of
CGI, it saved them a lot of money, probably $1 million in CGI, because they're like, oh, we'll just, what is the typical thing? We'll fix it in post. No, if you can save money, use practical effects every time. So they invited these guys, and of course they're you want to be in an episode of The Mandalorian?
And they're like,
yes. Well, just tell me where and when, and luckily they film it just outside of LA, and they showed up and they put them in it, and they look great, with blasters. Who wouldn't want to be Who wouldn't want to be
in the Mandalorian?
In the Mandalorian.
Well, where do they? Oh wait, let me get some of this too. He loves Star Wars. The villains of Star Wars are fun. I love the villains. The Galaxy's Edge, the stormtroopers are hilarious. In Galaxy, have you gone to Galaxy's Edge?
I have. I've been.
Tell me, what did you think of it? Oh no! Wait, what?
I'm kidding. No. I mean, of course, the line wasn't too bad. They had some good food. Usually, when you go to Disneyland, you're like, "Oh, what are we gonna eat?" Well, there's hamburgers and there's hot dogs. Really? Really? But
a Mickey pretzel.
And a Mickey pretzel. But I suggest going and getting some beignets. Beignets are great. They're shaped like Mickey ears. Beignets.
Where?
It's in. Not Frontierland.
Oh, the New Orleans Center?
Yes,
yeah,
it's right. It's like where the pirates and stuff are.
Yeah.
Yeah, get Disney. You have to get beignets. What else is the thing?
Well, there was all sorts of. This is what I was told. There's all sorts of Easter eggs. You had mentioned Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
There's all sorts of Easter eggs in Star Wars land. Is this true?
Yes. Yeah. You have to look for. I'm forgetting what you have to feed. I know that there's you can find there's a book. I know my wife and daughter would like. They brought a book and they're like, we had to look for hidden Mickeys in certain structures. Yeah, and all over Disneyland. So I think there's something similar to that in Star Wars. Now I could stay in Star Wars land the whole day and I wouldn't care.
Well, it's so funny that you mentioned that because the one time a friend of mine flew from Texas specifically to go to Star Wars Land.
Yeah.
We're sitting in the parking lot of Disneyland at 5:30 in the morning waiting for the gate to open to get in the parking lot.
Yeah.
He's that devoted. We spent over 8 hours in Star Wars Land alone to be able to see everything. And
smart.
And we really didn't even go to Disneyland that day. It felt like Star Wars Land is so different. It feels like you are in a different place than Disneyland.
You totally are, and I mean there's some people I couldn't believe at first. Like, they go to Disneyland almost every day.
Who goes to
And
Disneyland every day?
There are a number of Disney fans. You know, they go to almost Disney, and I believe it because you can see something new, or you can dedicate yourself to certain parts of Disneyland. Like you said, your friend went to Star Wars Land. You can do that all day. I have no problem with that. I can hang out. I mean, I've been to I've been to Disneyland so many different times that I couldn't go every day.
But you could go a lot. Like I could go a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah, I could go like once a month.
Gina said there are hidden Mickeys everywhere.
Yes.
And Johnny says,
Yeah.
I bet Star Wars clone troopers are guarding the public. I have only been to Galaxy's Edge in Florida. Oh, and not in California. Are they different? That's a good question.
I don't know because I've never been to I've never been to Disneyland in Florida. Do you want to Disney? You want to send me some tickets? I'll go.
Oh, I know. I haven't been over there either. But I mean, I've seen a lot of the other parks.
I'm sure they're similar.
Isn't there a Harry Potter here and a Harry Potter there?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you been to the Harry Potter here?
Yes.
And what do you think?
I like Harry Potter. It's too small. I wish it was bigger. But they don't have a lot of room. That's the only problem. If they had more room, I'm sure they would make it bigger.
What used to be there? Wasn't a theater right there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The amphitheater used to be right there.
The amphitheater was there. The Gibson Theater, and so they took that out and they were able to make that instead.
I miss the Gibson Theater. I've seen some really good shows at the Gibson Theater.
I was never there when it was the Gibson Theater.
You were never at the Gibson Theater?
No, I was never.
You only had how many years to go see a show?
Oh, I know, absolutely.
God.
I know. So out of all the cons,
yes.
What would you guess? For some reason, we're on cons today. Out of all the cons, which one is your favorite to go to each year?
Oh, Comic-Con, hands down.
What they
Hands
said,
down.
and that was Comic-Con. There's a rumor, and just a rumor, that Comic-Con may be moving to Las Vegas. Is that true?
Oh my God! I hear. You know what's so funny? If I had a nickel for every time I heard I hear Comic-Con. Even people always think that like they're in the know. They're like, hey, here Comic-Con is moving to Tallahassee. It's always some new place. It's like Comic-Con is going to stay in San Diego as long as San Diego wants it there. And I think San Diego,
because it brings so much commerce in.
Right. It brings in millions of dollars to and Comic-Con is not just in the convention center. It's out and about. It's everywhere. The city gets behind it. They put up banners everywhere. You know that Comic-Con is coming, and it's the restaurants look forward to it. The hotels look forward to it because the hotels, and again, it books a year in advance. So you need to get when Comic-Con comes back officially, and I want to say 2022, you need to get on it like in October, December. When you hear it, keep your ear to the ground, and when you hear it's going to happen or the tickets go on sale, get on it. And again, going back to that episode of The Big Bang Theory, where they talk about going online, all of them were online on the laptops.
Oh, to buy
that's
tickets.
no lie. That's no lie. You definitely you have to get on your laptop, and as many of your friends or people that want to go and get on there because it's a first come first serve.
But how fast did all those tickets sell out?
In hours.
Thousands? Like 100,000?
Yeah, because people coming from England, Germany, South America, Japan,
crazy.
China. There are people coming from all over the world because this genre, this kind of entertainment is the most popular entertainment in the world. And it's not just Star Wars or Star Trek. If you like horror movies, there's horror movies. You'll get Bruce Campbell, you'll get Freddy Krueger, you'll get all Jason Voorhees, you'll get all that. There's video games. You can come in and do whatever you want. You can go shopping. You can whatever you want to do. It's there.
Wouldn't they have the Walking Dead live action? You get immersed into Didn't you get immersed into something where the Walking Dead comes at you or something at Comic-Con?
Yeah, they have AMC has a booth, and they usually have, according to the season, if they're like stuck in a prison, it'll be prison themed, but they'll always have like walkers or zombies in there, and then you walk in there and take pictures with them, but they're in in character, so they're like trying to kill you and stuff. And they have all kinds of different things. Though, like though again, there was one year where they had all the Batmobiles, but they in front of the Hilton Hotel, which is right across the way.
Well, that's what you're saying.
And they have a carnival. They have a carnival.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can go to Comic-Con and not even have a ticket. Say like don't get frustrated. It's like, oh, I didn't get tickets to go to Comic-Con.
You can still go.
You can still go for the day, and you can go outside. At Fox will have like a carnival, and they'll have like the Simpsons rides, or they'll have
no joke.
No joke. You can see all kinds of stuff outside of Comic-Con. Across the way, there's stuff to see. They'll have a Stranger Things, whatever studio or television network will rent space. Tron had a Flynn's arcade one year, and down the street.
Oh, how cool! But is that associated with Comic-Con? So the people that are going to Comic-Con, how would they know about this, or is it kind of like off Comic-Con?
It's. What you mean? Like is it officially sanctioned?
Official, yes.
Sometimes it's not. I remember MTV wanted to get in on the thing, and they had an award show. They kind of made up. No, I'm just but
that wasn't officially.
It wasn't officially sanctioned by Comic-Con, and they just so happened to be there and doing their kind of like an awards show. Maybe they wanted to hop on the Comic-Con bandwagon and be relevant and take some of the Comic-Con mojo, and that's why they kind of had this little thing and stuff. But like again, they have all kinds of things. I mean, Playboy even used to go and have like a party for people. There's parties at night too.
Oh, that's right. So explain that, because after Comic-Con, when it ends at the day, people don't sleep through the whole night, because I've known of people not sleeping for 2 days and 3 days at a time.
Yeah.
So what goes on at nighttime?
At nighttime, like a movie studio or something, they'll have like a party with the cast and stuff. And if you're lucky, you get an invite to go in there and hobnob with the people. But those are few and far between.
Well, you go though because of what you do.
I do because I have to cover it, and basically it's like being like an event in LA. You have like a red carpet area. The guests come in. A lot of people that go to Comic-Con, meaning the celebrities, will come and have a drink or two and talk to people. It's like an old friends there, and then they have genre parties too, like Nintendo has a party here.
Well, that's why they call it Sunday is known as Day of the Dead. And the reason why is because after you've been staying up Wednesday night for preview, all day Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, by that point, I hear people are sleeping on the floors of the convention center. Is that right? In the hallways. That people are sleeping with their backpacks as a pillow, and they're laying on the floors along the sides of the corridors. And that's why it's called the Day of the Dead.
Typically, Sundays are more. Sunday's also an earlier day, but they dedicate Sundays to the little kids, the little ones. So that's when,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they will have like cartoons, and they'll have cosplay, but it's more child friendly. It's not. And by Sunday morning, everyone is just so burnt out from just the whole
everything.
Thing. But it's also a counter programming, because like in television, it used to be Sundays or the summertime they would run reruns and stuff, and nobody would watch television. Well, there were somebody who was smart enough to say, like, let's start doing original stuff in the summer so that people will
watch it.
So Comic-Con on Sundays is kind of dedicated to it was dedicated like Supernatural, and believe me, there were a lot of fans for Supernatural. And Doctor Who was also on Sunday, so you had a lot of people that would come just for Supernatural and just for Doctor Who. So that was kind of counter programming, because there's some people that are like, I don't care about the Marvel stuff, I don't care about the other stuff, I just want to see Doctor Who, especially people that come in from England.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So is Sunday a shorter day and then that's it, or because they have to break everything down, right?
Yeah. It's
till 2 or something, and then
I don't know how they're probably there all night, because they have to break down the booths, and all the vendors have to break down. So I'm sure they're not out of there till like either Monday morning or late Sunday night. But Sunday is still relatively busy, not as busy as the other days, but there's still plenty to see, and it's a great day to bring the little ones.
Because isn't Saturday the biggest day, or Friday or Saturday?
Friday used to be the biggest day. It was until Twilight. because Twilight wanted to break ground, so they would come in on Thursdays.
Oh,
So
but a lot of people are not there on Thursday. That's the thing, because a lot
Well,
of
they
people work
started. Well, no, they started coming on Thursdays, particularly if you were a Twilight fan. Yeah, because they want to be there before the week is over, and they can still be in that week of news. You know.
Oh.
So that was the reason why they would come on Thursdays, to still make the week's news and not wait until Monday. Because if you have a panel on a Saturday, then you have to wait till
Monday for it
to air. Yeah, and one of the great things that I love about Amazon is that Amazon delivers on Sundays.
Amazon delivers on Sundays? I wonder.
Yes.
So they do.
They do.
Oh, so Amazon works on Sundays. That makes sense, because I've seen the Amazon truck go by.
I know. I was like, what? Who's working on Sundays? It's Amazon. So they have a leg up on the Postal Service.
You guys, we've had such an awesome time. Right now, Albert. This is Albert L. Ortega with Getty Images here in Hollywood. If people wanted to follow your career, if they want to watch and see what you're up to, do you have like a website?
Instagram.
Well, tell them
I need to get a new website, but you can follow me on Instagram.
And what is it?
It's Albert L. Ortega.
So say it again, because
Albert L. Ortega, one word.
Okay, and then do you have a Facebook and a Twitter?
Twitter, same thing, Albert L. Ortega. Facebook, same thing, Albert L. Ortega. Getty Images, type in my name, Albert L. Ortega, and you can see all my work on Getty Images.
Oh, cool.
Yes, that's how you can find my work.
So if you wanted to check out some of Albert's work, purchase some of Albert's work.
Pictures of Candace.
Oh, yeah. Which I always appreciate. Oh, Daniel says, hey, Uncle A. Oh, is that somebody you know? And UPS is Sunday. Hey, so somebody knows.
Oh, UPS also works. I did not know UPS worked on Sundays. All I see on Sundays are Amazon trucks, but I think UPS didn't used to work on Sundays, but I guess they do now.
So anyways, you guys, he's got to come back because we had so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we got to talk about horror conventions.
Oh wait, and I had all this. You guys, I had all this stuff queued up for you to all these awesome DVDs, box sets, movies, and on Amazon Prime that you can rent. That we had queued up that we were going to talk with Albert because he knows all this stuff, and we didn't have enough time. So he's got to come back because we didn't even hit the horror genre, and we didn't look at all these awesome Marvel, DC, and Star Wars items. So anyways, thank you so much, you guys. And we will see Albert soon. Everybody have an awesome morning. Bye. Oh, let's sway. Let's sway.
And we're drunk.
Make sure you guys follow Sway TV. Follow Sway right here. Ooh, it's this way, sorry. Corey says, thank you, Sway TV. Shakira says, thank you, Sway. Yes, guys, it is so much fun. We love Sway TV.
We're here all the time streaming live. We're sharing great products. We're doing great interviews and amazing giveaways.
Amazon, we love you, Amazon.
So grateful for you guys and for Sway TV.
I've had such a great time with all of you.
Shop attainment all the time.
It is a girl's dream come true for someone like me to be able to give you dating advice and shopping all in one platform.
Amazon Live! Woo! Let's sway!
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway!
Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's go, let's sway! Woo!